Last month at Richmond, he hit the wall and finished 31st. And 2 weeks later, Jarrett got caught up in a wreck at Dover and finished 32nd. The final straw may have been 2 weeks ago at Charlotte. Midway through the race, Jarrett got hit from behind and crashed. 40th place finish was his worst of the season. Now he's more than 400 points behind leader Bobby Labonte. Retaining the crown in any major professional sport is a very difficult thing to do. Keeping it can be incredibly tough, as Dale Jarrett is finding out this year. It's a lesson they won't forget as they'll come back and hunt for the championship against next year. But Eli today, he'll start 21st.
Has a long way to go, but we've seen him get to the front many, many times. You take a look at the Dale Jarrett numbers, and they're impressive ones. Only one victory here this season, or one victory this season, I should say. But look at those 22 top 10s in 30 starts. That's the kind of consistency that is rewarded through the NASCAR point system. Well, TNN Sports is making its final visit to Rockingham today, and so is that man, Daryl Waltrip. He's in the spotlight when we come back.
Here comes Kyle Petty out of turn number 4 to face Doyle Ford's checkered flag and win the Goodwrench 500. 1.1 second.
Oh, God, what a hit. Oh, man, Michael Waltrip just.
For Bill and Gail Davis, for Chris Hussey, that MBNA Pontiac team, Ward Burton scores his first Winston Cup win.
You gotta like it right there. True emotion in victory lane, and there's the king having climbed down off the throne. He's in victory lane enjoying it.
And Jeremy Mayfield is being introduced to the crowd right now. Jeremy, of course, sits on the pole here today. He's never won at the Rock. He has a really fast race car. He's hoping to add his name to those history books here at Rockingham as well. Jeremy Mayfield looks to be the man to beat. He's been fast since he unloaded here. He was fastest in qualifying, and he was fast in happy hour yesterday. He's addressing the crowd right now. The fans love him, and I tell you, there's going to be a lot of guys chasing him today, Eli.
He has always run very well here, Jeremy Mayfield has. So, too, of course, has Daryl Waltrip. DW has had 4 victories here at Rockingham over the years, and better than 1/2 of all of his starts here. 29 times in all of his starts, he has finished in the top 10. That's impressive at this racetrack.
It is that, and you know, that's his last race. Daryl Waltrip and Rockingham he's won here, went on to win championships, and a lot of people thought coming into this year, Daryl Waltrip he should have quit a couple of years ago. Buddy Baker does not believe that. I think it's an honor to have a guy that's won 84 times out there, an opportunity to meet a real character. I mean, he is a funny guy, a guy that we are proud to say was the champion of Winston Cup racing. And to say goodbye to him here at Rockingham, we're all sad, but it has been a great ride, Daryl.
No doubt about it. Steve Burns has more on a real racer.
Eli, Daryl Waltrip made his first visit to this old racetrack in 1973. In a career full of memories, what does Rockingham mean to you?
Somebody told me I'd started this race like 58 times or been at this track that many times. It just seems impossible to me. That's a lot of races. Fortunately, I won a few of them. I don't know, I had some great battles here through the years with different drivers, you know, with Allison and Petty and Cale, and no really one sticks out in my mind more than the others. Normally, it's been a good racetrack for me. It's just a big old Bristol, really. It's kind of how I always viewed it. And tires are a big issue today, like always. Slip and slide with the best of them. We're not very good on the get-go, but we come on pretty good after a while. So that's the way everybody seems to be. Some of them slow down more than others.
All right, thanks, Daryl. Good luck.
All right, man. Thanks.
And you take a look at Daryl Waltrip's stats here at Rockingham, and as we said a short while ago, he has found himself with over 1/2 of his starts here having resulted in top 10 finishes. Hey, folks, a quick reminder to log on to TNNRacing.com for our exclusive free online webcast of today's race from Rockingham. You can ride along with our in-car cameras, including one with Series Point leader Bobby Labonte. Or if you'd like, you can listen live to radio talk between the crews and the drivers. It's free on FanScan. That's TNNRacing.com. Why don't you log on right now? When we come back, we'll take you back to 7 o'clock this morning. Dick Bergman will be in the garage with the Dawn Patrol.
Every week at each Winston Cup race, church services are held in the garage area, held by MRO, the Motor Racing Outreach, the ministry that services all the families in racing. This week at Rockingham, the MRO service is especially meaningful because once a year, the young children, grades 3 and down, of all the racing families will present the program. The entire service from start to finish by the kids today. MRO provides the families with a much-needed link to a more normal lifestyle of regularly scheduled Sunday morning religious services that most of us take for granted. Today, the racing stars that everybody across America knows are taking a back seat to the children in auto racing. A big thank you goes out to Max Helton, who founded MRO, Reverend Dale Beaver, all the folks at MRO, thanks for a great job. Eli?
Glenn, very well said. Early this morning, well, as per usual on race day, there's a huge crowd waiting to go into the garage at 7 o'clock. Today, a bigger crowd than usual, maybe because they knew Dick Berggren was there.
An unusually large number of crewmen burst through the garage gate when it opened before dawn. They had an unusually difficult challenge. This is the rock, where small stones in the paving tear at tires and turn crews to chassis treachery. Take a good look at the surface of turn 4. It is so abrasive. Goodyear has developed a special tire just for this race. It is a tire that doesn't wear out as fast or slow down as much as anything ever run here before. The hot setup? Soft springs to let the car squat down on the racetrack. That's aerodynamically an advantage. Huge anti-roll bar up front to control weight transfer. A setup that's so balanced, no tire wears more than any other. A setup that lets the car run high, low, or in the middle of the turn. Who hit the setup just right? Maybe a rookie. Last night, Kurt Busch, who has never run here before, cut the fastest lap in the final happy hour practice session. So will it be a kid or an aged veteran who conquers the rock? Stick around. This place is a great challenge for drivers and crews alike.
That was Dick Berggren on the Dawn Patrol. The families are ready. The drivers are ready. We're going to be ready for the green flag in just 12 minutes here at the North Carolina Speedway. Welcome back to the North Carolina Speedway in Rockingham. We're set now for our national anthem. Brad Paisley is with us. He's an Arista Records recording star. He won the Horizon Award earlier this year. He has our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
The flyover here to U.S. Air Force F-15 Strike Eagles. They're from the 333rd Fighter Squadron at the Seymour Johnson Air Force Base in Goldsboro, North Carolina. It's great to have them with us. Great to have you folks on board as well. We are set to go racing. Bobby Labonte in search of his first NASCAR Winston Cup title. Will he get closer today? We'll find out. We're coming back to the Rock in a moment. The following is a special presentation of TNN Sports. Autumn in the Old North State, and the yearly drama of change unfolds under the ancient canopy of pines. A time of harvest, a time to reap the fruits of the long summer season. Ricky Rudd back in victory lane for the 14th year in a row.
Here comes Mast right to the bumper, slides it sideways, and Earnhardt holds him off to win the race and knock down his 7th Winston Cup championship.
That's the way to win a championship right there. Way to go, champ.
But along with the bounty, there often are thorns of controversy.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Whoa! I guess that'll loosen you up. Hamilton on the wall.
Well, he was lucky to save that car.
Wow. For 35 years, men have pushed themselves to the limit here, hoping to build a foundation for season's end that is as wide as the Carolina sandhills and as solid as the Rock.
Bobby Labonte's season of success began here at the Rock in February. Another victory today would pad his already substantial championship advantage. Dale Earnhardt sits on the outside looking in. He hopes his miraculous finish at Talladega can be mirrored by his championship charge. Well, Bobby Labonte's drive to that first title has been well documented about how consistent they've been. But the one thing that people haven't talked about and that I admire most about these guys are just how hard they've raced for the win each week. Just a couple of weeks ago, Bobby Labonte won at Charlotte. He didn't try to points race. Then last week at Talladega, he was in the hunt. He got shuffled back at the end. Today, he starts second at the Rock. He won this race earlier this year. He wants to get another win. He knows that title will come.
There have been 11 different faces in victory lane in the past 11 fall races here at Rockingham, each with its own significant story. Championships have been claimed. First-time winners have risen. Streaks have been kept intact. As the faces change from season to season against the blue sandhill sky. Jeremy Mayfield's pole-sitting car is sporting a World Series paint scheme. Now, if you're into numbers like they are in baseball, try these on. The car number 12, the chassis number 12. The score last night, it went 12 innings, and that score was 4-3 Yankees. And if you times 4 by 3, that's 12. Play ball, Jeremy.
With 84 wins and 29 seasons of competition, Daryl Waltrip's career is the stuff of Winston Cup legend. Part of that legend was built right here at North Carolina Speedway, where DW won 4 times, including 3 out of the 4 races run in the 1981 and 82 seasons during his renowned years with Junior Johnson. Today, old DW will take his final laps around the Rock. When Daryl Waltrip made his first laps around this racetrack, Richard Nixon was a president of the United States. And speaking of our country, the one number that is most relevant about Daryl Waltrip, he has raced over 24,000 miles on this racetrack. He could crisscross our nation 8 times. Daryl Waltrip and 42 other drivers head to the green flag just ahead in the Pop Secret 400 here on TNN.
The temperature now climbing towards the 80s. The fans are here. TNN is on hand, and we are so happy to have you with us as well. As the season winds down, the Pop Secret Microwave Popcorn 400 is set to unfold here on TNN Sports. The championship very much in the grasp of Bobby Labonte. Taking a look at the Haviland point standings, just 210 markers between Labonte and Dale Earnhardt. Jeff Burton lurking behind along with last year's champion Dale Jarrett. Is the title chase over, or does it roll on from here and on and on and on? We'll all find out together. Hi, everybody. I'm Eli Gold. Welcome to The Rock. Glad you're with us as TNN pays its final visit to this legendary speedway here in the Sandhills of North Carolina. Lots of stories today. Of course, the biggest is the chase for the championship. We'll be talking about it here in just a moment or so, but there'll be no chase for the championship if they don't fire the engine. So why don't we go downstairs for the command to get this event underway as we go trackside here at Rockingham.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Hall of Fame racer Buddy Baker, who knows what points chases are all about. Bobby Labonte, all he has to do is finish 10th or better in the remaining races, and the championship is his. But I don't believe anybody's told that to Dale Earnhardt.
No, all you had to do was watch the race in Talladega last week. Dale Earnhardt came from the back to win that race. The fire burns deep in his eyes. You can see this man still believes he can win the championship. And I tell you what, so do I.
Now you've got the editor of Speedway Illustrated magazine alongside as well, Dr. Dick Berggren, and you, like all of us, have seen some record performances last week at Talladega, the week prior at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. What's going on all of a sudden?
Well, the season's winding down, Eli. There's just 4 races to go, including this one. 4 more chances for drivers to finally score a win in year 2000. 4 more chances to have that one good finish that they desperately need. And as a result, the engine builders have put their motors right on the edge of destruction to get the most power out of them this afternoon. Drivers can be expected to stick their necks out a good bit further, too.
It's always interesting here at The Rock. We'll see what happens together. Hope you can stick around. And remember, folks, remember, Election Day is coming up. Vote early and vote often. We're back with the green right after this. CNN Sports live coverage of the Pop Secret Microwave Popcorn 400 is being brought to you by Haviland Extended Life Antifreeze. Add more life to your car. By the Wide Track Pontiac Grand Prix. Wider is better. And by Exide NASCAR Select, the official automotive battery of NASCAR. Welcome back, everybody. The North Carolina Speedway in Rockingham, North Carolina. It is a magnificent day. It's been a late arriving crowd, but the fans have made their way in, and we are set to go. Let's check out the Big K starting grid, sponsored by Big Kmart, where NASCAR fans race for savings. 4th pole of the year for Jeremy Mayfield, Bobby Labonte. He was the winner here in February. Jeff Gordon with 4 Rockingham wins, and Bill Elliott has won here 3 times. You've got Mark Martin and Jeff Burton, who won here a year ago. Joe Nemechek, 3 top 10s in the last 5 Winston Cup races. Mike Skinner was 6th last week. And your top 10 rounds out with Ward Burton and Kenny Wallace, who was 2nd a week ago. It's going to be interesting, buddy, to see whether Kenny's fine performance from Talladega can carry over here today.
Very little drafting here. You have to finesse the car through the corners, but he has a good driving style on this type of racetrack. He never overdrives the car, so he should have a good run today.
There's Dale Jarrett, the leading driver here over the last 10 races. Kurt Busch is on board the John Deere green machine. There's Dale Earnhardt. Great win last week. Ricky Craven is in the field. Saw Andy Houston making his 3rd start in NASCAR Winston Cup competition. Mike Bliss had a 9th place finish a weekend ago at the Talladega Superspeedway. And on down the line to those who got in on provisional starting spots, including Robbie Gordon, Dave Marcus, and Carl Long. Those who failed to qualify, some interesting names, including Hut Strickland and Ted Musgrave, Rich Bickle, Stacy Compton. Steve Grissom also did not qualify for today's race. 393 laps equals 400 miles. This track is 1.017 miles around. And we're set to go. We've got onboard cameras. We'll show you those pictures as the day unfolds. Glad you're with us as TNN says so long to Rockingham. It's only a mile around, but they do get a head of steam up in a hurry, don't they?
They certainly do that. Jeremy Mayfield is not wasting any time. You're riding with Mark Martin down the back straightaway. This is a good look. As they head into turn 3, you see Jeff Gordon in the 24 there. Dropping back just a little bit on the start.
Mark almost won the Busch Series race here yesterday. A miscue in the pits cost him what seemed like certain victory.
Martin works the high side and continues to climb the banking.
Eli, that turn right there coming out of turn 2 is one of the most difficult parts of this racetrack. There's a little crown in the racetrack there. You come up the back and then it just throws you over against the wall. That's an action spot here.
Jeremy Mayfield and Bobby Labonte trying to pull away.
You see cars passing Jeff Gordon here in the number 24. That's typical. He usually lets the tires come in, lets some people pass him. That's what he's doing right now.
Riding with Ricky Rudd. Back around the 13th spot. And looking rearward towards Steve Park.
You can see the cars moving up and down in the racetrack here. They run very, very soft suspension on these cars to get maximum grip from the tires as they go in the corners.
There's Jeremy Mayfield. 9/10 of a second on Bobby Labonte.
And I'm sure Bobby Labonte in second place there would like to get up there, Eli, and get that 5-point bonus for leading the lap here.
Dale Earnhardt back in 30th spot. There he is, working outside Wally Dallenbach's number 75. And there's the spread up front. Good third place scramble here. Bill Elliott trying to set his sights on Jeff Burton. And remember, folks, if you didn't happen to see the show last week from Talladega, that is the new look of the number 99 car for Jeff Burton with that Citgo SuperGuard sponsorship, having replaced the Exide colors.
Just walking around out in front of the racetrack today talking to different race fans. Bill Elliott still has such a huge following, and everybody was kind of going, you know, I'd love to see Bill win with this team before he moves to Dodge next year. A lot of people still pull for Bill Elliott in the race.
Dave Blaney in 27th, looking back from him towards Terry Labonte. Now 9th place on your screen. Rusty Wallace and Rick Mast, the 2 on the 14.
Rusty Wallace had a wreck in practice here this week. Bent the front end over. They jacked it back into place. Done a little bit of work on the right front corner, and the car seems to be as good as it ever has been.
Rusty, a 5-time winner here at the Rock. 50 is Ricky Craven. Oh, we go way high up the banking now, very early. You see those smoke just coming off Robert Presley's tires.
Well, if it slips, you have to give it a little bit of room, and luckily here at Rockingham, you have the banks to catch you. You can run all over the racetrack. As you see, 3 different grooves as they go through the corner there. One on the bottom, one in the middle, and one right up against the wall.
And they're all fast, too. Yesterday, as we watched the Busch Series race, we watched people pass upstairs, people pass downstairs. It's one of the most enchanting things about this racetrack. It's just so much fun to watch all these grooves open up as we watch second place up for grabs here.
Bobby Labonte in the green machine still has it. Here goes Jeff Burton powering by to the outside, just as Dick and Buddy were talking.
And that's finesse. You see Bobby Labonte there. Just roll out the throttle. It's too early to contest somebody side by side. Now you see he has the fast car, but he just rolled out, said, I got a groove that I want to run. You go ahead if you think you can run that fast all day.
Ralph Shaheen's in Bobby Labonte's pit.
Eli, there was conversation before the start of the race today between Bobby Labonte's crew and Jeremy Mayfield's crew about letting Bobby get up there and grab the 5 points that Buddy Baker was talking about. But now, as Bobby Labonte has slipped back to 3rd, they're going to have to earn it.
Still, though, plenty of time. As you see, only 11 of 393 laps are on the board. All 43 starters still out there running here in the early stages. Rusty Wallace in the 2, Ward Burton in the 22.
Keep your eye on Ward Burton in that number 22 car. This is a team that has come back from adversity. They had a tough middle part of the season, doing a lot better now. They were very fast last night in happy hour, second quick.
feeling the heat from the 14 machine of Rick Mast. While second place settles for the moment.
And you see Bobby Labonte there now running in the tire tracks of the 99 car of Jeff Burton. What he did was fell back behind him and kind of looked to see where he was running on the racetrack. He was running on the bottom, now changed his line.
They're also running 1 8/10 seconds behind that man, Jeremy Mayfield. We've just gotten going here at Rockingham. Early stages of the Pop Secret 400. Jeremy Mayfield continues to lead. And remember, folks, if you'd like, you can log on right now to TNNRacing.com for our exclusive free online webcast of today's race here at Rockingham. You can ride along with all the in-car cameras, including one with Bobby Labonte. Or you can listen live to the radio talk between the crews and the drivers on our free fan scan feature. That is TNNRacing.com. Log on right now. We've got a space reserved for you. Jeremy Mayfield trying to check out. With all due respect to everybody else, I don't think he'd care if he stinks up this race. He just wants to get gone and see if he can just pull away from the world.
Eli, the one thing he better watch is the car directly behind him, the 99 of Jeff Burton. He's running a very smooth line, letting the car roll through the corner, where Jeremy's changed his line about 10 times already, trying to find some place that the car will stick better. And I think he might have used his tires a little bit hard there in an early lap, because I do believe Burton is closing in on him.
So he might have checked that on himself, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
But we had some conversation yesterday, Jeremy and I, and he talked about the fact that he's only finished 1 race in the last 8. And he said that he has to be more conservative and the team has to be more conservative. And maybe he's doing just that, because right now, Burton is right on his back bumper, closed right in.
Just exactly as Buddy said.
Now look where Burton's running there, and you can see the car much quicker in the center part of the corner. Down the straightaway, we've already proved that he's got a fast car, but you cannot abuse tires at Rockingham. You have to take care of them.
So, Glenn, so much for Jeremy Mayfield's lead.
Well, what happened, Eli? The car started getting a little bit free, a little bit loose, and that's why, Buddy, you said he was searching around on the racetrack. He was trying to find a place where the back end would snug up just a little bit. And so when he looked up and saw Burton coming, he radioed in and told the crew, guys, I'm just going to back off a little bit. I'm running too hard right now. I don't want to get this thing to get too loose too soon.
We had talked about that earlier on the pre-race show, how the tires are good. You're not seeing that big drop-off, but if you over-abuse your tires, you will. Here's 4th place up for grabs, riding with Mark Martin. He wants to grab the spot away from Bill Elliott.
You want to watch a smart driver.
Fortunately,
once that bug goes away there.
But that bug, well, forget it. I was going to say something, but better not.
Now, see, Jeremy right now is looking over Burton's line around the racetrack, and he's saying, you know, he's awful smooth, but I have a good race car, too. I'm not sure Jeremy isn't doing exactly what Burton said, just riding along right now.
Well, Burton's got a big problem here, too, because his crew just told him, take care of your stuff, but by the same token, he doesn't want to lose the lead. He wants to hang on up there.
Well, you can see right there, his crew won the battle of the words there. He backed right off. Now he's going to ride same groove that he's been in, because you can see the car very free through the corner where Jeremy, he's leaning on it. There's some cars coming up that are going to be a factor here before long.
Meanwhile, Steve Burns, what a rude sport this can be sometimes. From a career best 1 week to first out the next, huh?
Second place at Talladega, but the first out today. Kenny, you were so enthusiastic. What put you in the garage here?
Well, it shows you just the way the sport goes. You know, after almost winning last week, we're running about 8 there, and the bottom end of the motor broke. So 14 laps into the race, and the bottom broke out of the motor. So the car was there. Everything was going good. We just had some bad luck. Thanks, Kenny.
So Kenny Wallace done for the day. It's a tough field. Meanwhile, the lead is swapped around again as Jeff Burton retakes the top spot from Jeremy Mayfield. Now watch this battle behind them. You've got 9th place on the screen there. The 22 of Ward Burton. Rick Mast there in the 14th.
And Steve Park in the 1 there has really caught this bunch from about a half a straightaway back. So Steve Park working well in that yellow car following his crew.
And the guy that's under the most pressure is the fella in that number 14 car, Rick Mast. Talked to him yesterday. He said chances are 95% that he is out of that car, has no ride so far for year 2001. This is his best racetrack score, his career best finish of second here. He's also got a third at Rockingham.
Now let's watch and see what they turn down the straightaway here. We see telemetry on these cars. I saw 8,600 down the back straightaway there. You notice the drop off in the corners, 66, 67. Now they start to accelerate down the front straightaway. You'll see about 87, 8,800 there, right at the end of the front straightaway.
This looks like Harry Gant is out there. Remember when Harry Gant used to use the high groove? Richard Petty used to use that groove. Is this a byproduct of the changed tires, do you think?
I think it's a byproduct of a lot of things. Among those things is the fact that they've got so much aerodynamic downforce in these race cars now that the drivers really can pick a lot of different lines and successfully run those different lines. Certainly some of it, too, is just the pressure. They all need to go. We're getting down to the end, and so they're going to try anything they possibly can.
Well, I have another theory because I'm down here quite often, and I will tell you that the racetrack down on the bottom part has been raced on millions of miles. It's just lap after lap, people racing down there, and they smooth the surface off there. You get better grip on the higher side of the racetrack, and you see the groove right now leading the race is a little bit higher than down low.
By 1 full second, the lead of Burton over Jeremy Mayfield. Bobby Labonte is 1 8/10 seconds behind. Lots of lead changes, but between only two guys. We're back in a moment. We are back. We've been discussing the science of using the low side of the racetrack versus the high side of the racetrack. And Jeremy Mayfield has figured out the low side can work. He just shot beneath the number 99 of Burton, takes the lead, and in the process will put Daryl Waltrip a lap down.
Yeah, his hero back from when he used to race at the Nashville Speedway, Daryl Waltrip was the guy that he really was his hero, but Daryl moved to the high part of the racetrack, realizing that Jeremy was running lower line. He moved right out of the way.
Here on the bottom right of your screen is the leadest pass for the lead. That's how it happened.
That wasn't even a battle there.
No.
No, Jeremy had both left side tires under the white line 2 times in that corner as he executed the pass. Burton right up against the wall at the same time.
You know, guys, you got to remember, too, though, Jeremy Mayfield has only finished out of the top 20 here twice. Once was 34th, once was 29th. Otherwise, he's been in the top 20 and usually in the top 10. That is 6th place now. Bill Elliott in the McDonald's number 94. Mark Martin in the number 6.
And one thing we didn't see was the 2-car of Rusty Wallace. He got by both these guys and went right up there. He's currently in 5th spot.
Mark Martin, Steve, one of those guys who recorded his first Winston Cup win here.
Eli, I talked to his car chief, Sean Parker, before the race, and he said because of the new tire compound, they were one of the teams going to a softer spring package, and he said they thought that the tire wear was going to be pretty good. Mark has radioed into the team and said, hey, I just want to ride and see what these sticker tires do as heat and pressure build up in the tire.
As you see the rundown in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, periodically you'll see some numbers in green. Those, when we show you the speeds, are the fellas like those right there who are running faster than the race leader on that given lap. So as you see that rundown, a green number means good.
And Eli, what they're doing now is the leaders are now getting in the lap traffic, which will change the line of everyone.
43 laps are down, as you see. 393 making up the distance. There's Dale Earnhardt. He's up to 16th spot right now. When you talk about a guy who's been using every inch of the racetrack, not so much there in turns 3 and 4. But let's see if he stays there. Well, we go back to the lead first. There's Jeff Burton making the move around Jeremy Mayfield.
Jeff Burton has learned so much from Mark Martin as a teammate. He'll do that. He'll check a line out, see what he's doing. He's very content to let somebody else lead. Never really gets in there and binds the car up. He's doing a run right now, trying to take care of everything. But this guy right here, he's using, as you said, every bit of the racetrack. As a matter of fact, he almost hit the wall a couple of times. He's so close to hitting the wall as he goes through the corners there.
Watch it there. Glenn, he couldn't have been more than 1.5 feet off the wall.
Oh, no, Eli, for the last 20 laps or so, Earnhardt has been right up against that wall. And you know what it's doing for him? He's the quickest car on the racetrack has been consistently for the last 15 laps or so. The only other guy that's even coming close to running that high in the middle of 1 and 2 is Jeff Gordon. And guess what? By my clock down here on the NASCAR scoring, Gordon is consistently running laps. That's the second quickest car. Man, those guys have found something. Earnhardt's on the move.
There's that line again. Somewhere in Atlanta, South Carolina, Cale Yarborough is sitting saying, I did that, I did that. Hey, there's Schrader. Kenny must have just brushed the wall. It looked like it as he came off the corner. And they're going to take an advantage here to change right side tires, unscheduled at 47 laps.
I'd say they'll get all fours, and now they go around to the left side. One thing you have to have here is fresh tires. Anytime you come in, that little bit of time it takes to put that other set of tires on the left side there is well worth it.
Jack Van Fell coming around the front of the corner of the car, and that's going to cost him still some more time.
There you see the front two, Jeff Burton and Jeremy Mayfield. Those two fellas are now 1 1/10 seconds ahead of third place Bobby Labonte. Working under green here at the Rock. There is the lead battle here at Rockingham, North Carolina. Jeff Burton has that nose-to-tail battle under control for the moment, with Jeremy Mayfield running right behind him. Now, while those two guys are out there doing their thing, everybody else is jockeying for position, including that number 3 machine of Dale Earnhardt. You know, we say on TNN that we've got pop. Well, watch this pop that Earnhardt gave to Ward Burton seconds ago.
Okay, it comes up on Ward Burton, and there's no horn on these cars, and to get their attention, you have to, every once in a while, say, I'm here. That didn't even wiggle the car in front of him, just enough to get his mind off.
Now, talk to me about these guys searching the way they do for the groove. I mean, some guys, do you force the issue? Do you let the car go where it wants to go? Do you drive where you are comfortable? How do you find this right groove?
Eli, the first thing you do is you say, okay, I'm going to try the high groove. Let me know my times. You go up there, and your crew tells you, okay, that was a lot better. Whatever you did, do it again, and you run 2 or 3 laps like that. Your spotters upstairs, they check, and they say, okay, that was a great line there. The car is working there. Does it feel comfortable? And they work on that. And as you can see right now, the 3 car, he's found something that works for him. May not work for Jeremy Mayfield, but it worked for that driver.
Well, Jeff Burton's spotters have been talking to him about the line that Earnhardt is taking, and Burton's getting inconsistent information. They're suggesting, one of them is suggesting, go up high. It's working for Earnhardt. But Frank Stoddard said, don't do that. Run your own line. Stay where you want to stay. Don't do what Earnhardt does. So here's poor Jeff Burton sitting in his car. He's getting inconsistent information about what he ought to be doing to try and pick a line.
Well, the end result is how much time it takes you to go around the racetrack, and that's the line you really need to go for. You see Ricky Rudd right now, the middle part of the racetrack, working very well for him. He's actually catching a guy running where Earnhardt's supposed to be able to be the best. So he's running what's good for his car.
NASCAR timing and scoring there in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. And why do you need genuine Napa replacement parts? Because some things can't be replaced. Napa bringing you NASCAR timing and scoring. Steve Burns, a lot of early pit stops here at lap 47, 48, lap 51, a little earlier than we expected.
Yeah, and speaking of replacement parts, Ken Schrader just came in. Look at this, Eli, guys. Right rear tire going down. See the inner liner, the tire within a tire stayed up, but he lost 2 laps. Things happen very quickly here at Rockingham. Kenny Schrader 2 laps down.
He is running in 34th position right now. There you see Bill Elliott going high. Ricky Rudd in that black 28 in the middle groove, along with the 14 of Rick Mast. Everybody's searching out. Now, with ideal non-abrasive racetracks, you would go roughly 90 laps here or so. Even maybe a tick more than that before you come in for fuel. That's just not likely in the early stages of today's race.
Well, what you've really got here, Eli, is the guys who have come in for pit stops are the guys who are running in the back of the field. The reason they're running in the back of the field is the cars aren't handling well. So they're eating up their tires much more than the guys who are running in the front of the field. And that's why we've seen so many pit stops already. They just don't want to get lapped too many times.
Well, I talked to Larry Reynolds this morning. He said anywhere from 60 to 70 look for his car in the pits because they feel they can go 90 laps on fuel, but they don't think you're going to do that at all.
You know, from the helicopter view, you'll really get a good view of exactly how many drivers are still searching for exactly where is best to run. We'll just take you around and you see all the different grooves. Middle groove, high groove, middle to high groove. And of course, you've seen others running down low already today.
Yeah, and a lot of times you'll find that 8 tires hold a lot better than 4. You'll lean on them a little bit getting in the corner. It just can't be avoided sometimes.
Meanwhile, closer to the front, everybody again circle. Look at that, right up to the wall. That time, Jeff Burton shoots up to the high side. Dave Blaney, the 93. He was in for a pit stop on the 56th lap. His window net came loose, the man with whom we are driving. So he had to come in to replace that window net, to lock it in place. It's got to be in place because NASCAR is obviously very, very fickle about safety requirements.
Yeah, and you want to talk about something tough. Is that thing to fall down? Here comes Jeremy Mayfield as we speak on his first stop.
Jeremy was losing a couple of spots on the racetrack, and he said enough is enough. He's going to come in for the stop here at lap number 65. Glenn?
Well, guys, he thought that he might have a right rear going down, or else it's just completely worn out. The car got really squirrely with him. They've been talking back and forth on the radio the last couple of laps. Jeremy hasn't got to the pits yet. Long pit road here. Here he finally comes. This will be a 4-tire stop. A lot earlier than they had hoped. Everybody was hoping to go about 75 to 80 laps. We've only been 66 so far. They're making a 2-round chassis adjustment on the car. I want to see you get a look at this right rear when it comes off. It's leaning against the wall right now. Fuel's in the car, and Jeremy's down and away in about 16.2 seconds. Pretty good stop with the chassis adjustment. We'll take a look at the tires and report back.
You saw the clock on the overhead camera, brought to you by Polaris ATVs. Overdosed on civilization, Polaris is the way out. Other teams in for their stops right now at lap number 65 and lap number 66. All of this under the green. There's Jerry Nadeau making his 100th career start today. He's in. Here comes Dale Jarrett in for service.
Jimmy Spencer going down pit road. Bobby Hamilton. A lot of cars. Here comes Jeff Gordon into the pits now.
All of this at lap number 68. John Andretti is in. Mike Bliss comes in.
Sterling Marlin making his way on. Here comes the 31 car, Mike Skinner.
Marlin is in, and Ralph Shaheen is watching Jeff Gordon's crew.
Jeff Gordon is in. They're supposed to make one turn on the right rear of the car. They do that. 4 tires, of course, will be the name of the game on this round of pit stops as Todd Gant goes to work on the front and Shane Church on the backside of the tires. 16.4 seconds stop. Jeff Gordon is away.
There you see the exit to pit road right there front and center. Other stops coming up now, including Jeff Burton again. He will be coming in now to make his stop. So that will hand the lead over to Bobby Labonte. So Jeff Burton now coming in at lap number 70. Rusty Wallace will follow his tire tracks down the pit lane. Same with Mark Martin. Ricky Rudd is also coming in for service. Likewise, Joe Nemechek is coming in. Back to Glenn.
And Jeff Burton's coming in. His car is loose like everybody else's. They're going to go up around on the track bar, change 4 tires. The common consensus down here, guys, is everybody's getting very, very loose. Bill Elliott said his car was as loose as the devil's house. Here's Steve Burton.
Hey, Glenn, Rusty Wallace just leaving pit road for service. Pretty aggressive stop for them in terms of chassis adjustment. They went down on some air pressure and made a track bar adjustment, as well as 4 tires for Rusty Wallace. Let's go to Ralph.
Well, one of the first hiccups we've seen out of potentially the championship-winning team this year, Bobby Labonte. He slid through his pit stall, almost got tied up on the cord for the tire changer. They're struggling a little bit. Fuel splashed out of the car. They made air pressure adjustment changes. They fought their way through this pit stop. stop. Not one of the quicker stops we've seen by this very normally good pit crew.
Now, if you're keeping tabs on who has led already here in this exchange of stops, we have seen Bobby Labonte lead lap 70. That man, Dale Earnhardt, led lap 71. Steve Park is now leading on lap 72. Meanwhile, watch the replay of Bobby Labonte's stop. Or lack of stop.
He almost slid out of the box. Almost completely out of the box.
Tell you, the right front tire carrier there, great athlete. He really had to turn up his speed there, get hit by the car as he went through his pits.
Well, Steve Park cycles around, and he will now come in for service. This will be lap number 73. Ralph Shaheen is down there watching as Robert Presley takes the lead.
Steve Park makes his way down pit road. He'll be making his pit stop now. They're counting him in. 6 away, they say. That's how many pit stalls he was away. Now they say, turn it in. They're going to make a quick adjustment to the chassis on the back side of the car on the right rear. 1 full turn there. 2 cans of gas, and of course 4 fresh tires, as everybody is doing. The car goes up into the air on the left side. One spin, look at the jacket. Their way. 16-7 for Steve Park.
And now, as Jeremy Mayfield will reassume the lead, Robert Presley, with whom we are riding, comes down the pit lane. So everything is going to cycle back on around now as the final teams to make pit stops, Presley and Dave Marcus, are in respectively at lap number 73. The leader will be Jeremy Mayfield as we are live here at the Rock, caution free through 75 laps. We are back at the North Carolina Speedway. The 24 of Jeff Gordon is the new leader of the top secret microwave popcorn 400. Here's how it happened before he got into that big pack of traffic. Watch it on the lower right of your screen.
Jeremy on the high side, and the 24 of Jeff Gordon now. He gets really in the corner. Fresh tires right down on the white line. You can see what a boost, but look at the run that Jeremy has.
Now watch this from a lap before that. Look at this.
Hold your breath when you do. Look at this. They came real close to 4 wide coming off the corner, which would have been a spectacular wreck had they really done it.
Now, after pit stops moments ago, there are the fellas who had the very best pit stop performances. Dale Earnhardt went in 6th and came out 11th, if you're curious. And Bobby Labonte, with his problems, really didn't lose all that much. He finds himself in the top 5, so not as bad a situation as it could have been. Of course, both Earnhardt and Bobby Labonte have already led today. For those of you who might just now be tuning in, each driver has picked up 5 bonus points for leading a lap. And now you see the 12 of Jeremy Mayfield reassuming the lead from Jeff Gordon. Looks like we're going to pick right up after Charlotte and Talladega with another one of these 50 lead change events.
Eli, everybody's been talking about the new generation tire, but the minute they came out with this tire, and what the new generation tire is, it has more stagger. The car turns better in the center part of the corner. It made a lot of people change the setup because it makes the car turn so much better. It makes the back loose. But the racing has been incredible since they went to the new generation tire.
At Charlotte, we saw 46 lead changes. Last Sunday at Talladega, 49. Glenn, meanwhile, how about the tires? What have the Goodyears looked like coming off the cars here?
Kind of like me, Eli. Worn out. These are Jeremy Mayfield's tires here. This is the left rear and the right rear. You can see the numbers. This is where they measured them. The numbers are a lot worse than the rear tires. What we're seeing down here is something I've never seen at Rockingham before. The left rear tire is almost wearing completely out. Bill Elliott's was the same way. The rear tires on Mayfield's car were pretty well gone. And remember, they only ran 66 and 67 laps. I'm telling you, these guys are in for a long day. I'd like to take a look, or have somebody take a look at Earnhardt's rear tires to see if there was any difference in running that real high groove he's been running, to see if it made his tire wear any better.
Buddy, why the left rear?
Well, what they're doing here is they're going in the corner, going way up on the racetrack and turning. That makes the right rear berm there. Then you accelerate. You mash down on it, and that left rear and right rear are trying to pull like that. And it's also sliding the left rear as it comes up out of the corner. Now, I'll tell you what, this racetrack will test you out to see whether you can get forward bite or not. If you don't get forward bite, that left rear goes away.
Jeremy Mayfield leads. Jeff Gordon is second. The 99 right there. Jeff Burton is third. Rusty Wallace is running in the fourth spot as Dave Marcus now goes a lap down. He is running in the 41st position. We are caution-free here at the North Carolina Speedway in Rockingham. 42 of the 43 starters still running. Only man in the garage, Kenny Wallace, gone with engine failure. Super crowd, sun-drenched as they are here on this 22nd day of October. CNN live with you here at the Rock. Glad you're tuned in. Making his 500th career NASCAR Winston Cup start. Sterling Marlin just ahead of our race leader. Trying to hang in there on the lead lap.
Jeff Gordon way up on the racetrack. In the middle groove there, the 99 of Jeff Burton and Rusty Wallace. These guys have really been going at it for the last little bit here. And Jeremy Mayfield now is being reeled in by Jeff Gordon. And he does that. After the pit stop, he'll drop back for a little while and then come forward as the tires start to go away.
You know, he's doing that, buddy, but he said he can't do it as much as he used to do it with this new tire. Said he got caught doing that at Darlington earlier this year. Took it too easy on the brand new tires. Found himself too far back, couldn't catch up. So he's going to have to be more aggressive today than he ordinarily is. But you're right. He does take it easy on the new tires more than the others.
Well, he's getting past right now. He ran up on lap traffic there, that high line. He had nowhere to go. Jeff Burton going by, and now Rusty Wallace picks him off.
Good battle right there as Rusty Wallace makes the move in and around the inside of Jeff Gordon and takes a spot away.
That's Kevin LePage in the 16 car there.
LePage, a lap down in 30th place. You're curious about Terry Labonte after starting all the way back. There he is. Terry going from 32nd all the way up to 11th place right now. And remember that Terry Labonte has finished 8th or better in 7 of the last 10 races here at Rockingham.
Eli, I think momentum has finally got back with Terry Labonte. He had a miserable time. He was injured there at the summertime race down in Daytona. Everybody said, what in the world has happened to Terry Labonte? I talked to his crew chief this morning. He said last weekend we had our first top 5 since that wreck. And I believe that Terry's really on the upswing right now. He's confident he can get the job done. And momentum really plays a big part in this type of racing.
Plus the fact 6 times in his career he's led more than 100 laps on a given Sunday here at Rockingham. So he's always liked this racetrack, and that's got to help too.
Won here a couple of times. One with Dale Inman as his crew chief in '83. One with Steve Meal as his crew chief in 1986 as Michael Waltrip goes up in smoke.
And the black flag is out as we are on board Michael Waltrip now.
Get worse.
Wow.
And caution is on the speedway. He is now putting down some oil.
He had some under the rear tire. You could see him really trying to catch the car.
So caution is on the speedway for the first time at lap number 99 for the problems that you see front and center for Michael Waltrip.
And the Mosquitoes head back to the swamp.
Center, go under the hood, everybody else back. It's just ready. It's going to the left.
See, they're saying who's going to go under the hood to check. Everybody else just hang back.
Eli, the motor's still running, so it must be a fitting or something that's loose on that car because it's still running.
Called up. Get called up. Then come to me.
How many laps you been on the board? That's just the second time I've seen the black.
Now he gets the black flag again.
What he's trying to do is catch up to the back of the pack here so he can come in the pits and have more time to work on the car without losing the lap.
He is putting down oil, though you see, as the veteran he is, Michael gets off the main racing groove.
Well, all the leaders are coming down pit road as we speak right now, so this will get him right in there with the lead bunch.
So all the leaders are in lap 101. Lap 101 of 393, first to Steve Burns.
Rusty Wallace brakes hard, comes to a stop. Earl Marvin is the jack man. Front tire changer Billy Wilburn. Robbie Fuller on the back. No adjustments, just 4 tires. Let's go to Ralph.
Well, they're going to make an air pressure adjustment for Jeff Gordon. He's still trying to get the car to handle right in the corners. It's a little loose off. The bigger problem was the radio. They changed radios.
And Jeremy Mayfield in the very last pit stall down here. Number 1, 4 tires, another chassis adjustment to try to tighten him up a little bit. He gets out first, beats Jeff Gordon, Jeff Burton, Rusty Wallace, and Dale Jarrett. Mark Martin were the first 6 out.
Everything routine for everyone except, obviously, Michael Waltrip. You see the crew just wiping off some of that oil. Jeremy Mayfield remains as the leader. As TNN with you from Rockingham. TNN Sports live coverage of the Pop Secret Microwave Popcorn 400 is being brought to you by NapaOnline.com, where everything great about Napa is now available online. Michael Waltrip now pulling away after the loose oil line was fixed. And indeed, as you said, Buddy Baker, the problem was a fitting that held those oil lines in place. One came loose, and Michael has been able to continue away. Rusty Wallace, meanwhile, out there running in 4th spot. I believe Dick Bergman's got him on the radio.
Hi, Rusty. Can you hear us?
Loud and clear.
Rusty, so many different lines. Which one is working best for you?
Well, I think early in the run, you start out on the bottom when the tires are pretty fresh, and then you got to kind of move up to the top of the racetrack as the tires wear.
How's your car?
Got a good car today. It's running real good. Just got to keep my head smart and drive nice and easy. You might be able to win this thing.
Okay, you got our best wishes. Good luck today.
Rusty Wallace with 5 wins here at the Rock. 11 top 5, 16 top 10s. So you talk about another guy who is so very comfortable here at the North Carolina Speedway. Rusty Wallace is the name. Paulie McCauley enjoying a race at the Rock. Billy Rock. 1/2 lap away from going green. Remember to check out NASCAR online before, during, and after the race. www.nascar.com. It is your 24-hour NASCAR Garage Pass. Quick note, Bobby Labonte came into pit 5th. He came out 8th, so he lost 3 spots. Ricky Rudd came in 10th, went out 14th. So Ricky lost 4 positions. Those are some of the fellas in the top 15 and how they made their pit stops. Going green.
Mayfield's going to try to check out. They're going to practice in case they have a late race caution to see if he can, in fact, check out on the field. So far, so good. Well, he knows he can do that.
Yes, he can, very effectively.
A lot of talk about Jeremy Mayfield maybe leaving that team, possibly his crew chief Peter Suspenzo as well. Not going to happen, according to Roger Penske and Jeremy Mayfield.
Here you see the Midas wall cam, the new Midas. We're a whole new way to keep the good things going. Midas. Glenn Jarrett's on pit road.
All right, guys, a little momentary scare here for Jeremy Mayfield after that last pit stop. When he pulled back out on the racetrack, he radioed in and told crew chief Peter Suspenzo that there was a voltage problem. He wasn't getting the right readings out of his voltage meter. And so Peter told him to rev it up, see if it changed. It didn't. Now the car is missing really bad. Peter said he thought it was the gauge, but the car is missing now. So they do have a problem of some sort.
Interesting, a story to follow for this afternoon.
Eli, and what that means here is from the center of the corner to the other end of the straightaway, you can see right now Jeff Burton starting to reel him in just a little bit. Elliott Sadler, a lap down there, is able to run with him where he couldn't even stay close just before the pit stop.
Bobby Gordon in the 13. Outside of Mark Martin, with whom we're riding now. Martin is in the 6th spot.
Gordon, another with uncertain plans for year 2001. He was standing on the wall yesterday. I said, what are you going to do in year 2001? He looked at one of his partners and said, well, what are we going to do? His partner said, we've got to find a sponsor. That's all they need. They'll be all set for next year. Let's stick with stock cars. What did he do?
Talking about that car skipping a little bit. Sometimes you'll have a little flutter like that. You'll actually load the plugs up a little bit on the runs around here at low RPM, and then if the car gets going, it'll eventually get better.
He just called into the radio and said it's still missing.
Oh, boy.
Sometimes it will go away. This time it's not.
On this restart, folks still picking the groove. 24, Gordon running in the third spot. A couple of laps ago, watch it on the lower right. Watch Rusty Wallace there, the 2 in the middle of the screen. Bang once.
Wow.
Compliments of John Andretti.
Yeah, and you always worry about that because it's on the left front corner there, and you hope that you don't have a tire rub when you get all done because they hit right about where the tire is at on the fender.
Don't see any tire smoke.
No, and he's actually, if anything, he's picked it up just a little bit. He's caught the 24, Jeff Gordon.
Working lap 114 of 393. That's the battle for third place you're watching. They are 2 4/10 seconds behind Jeremy Mayfield. They are 1 3/10 seconds behind Jeff Burton, who's running second.
You're a Rusty Wallace fan. Maybe you think he should have won the last 2 fall races here at Rockingham. Led 152 laps here in 1998. Led with 10 to go. His tires went away. That lost that race for him. And then last year he led 107. Changed the car on the last pit stop. That was a mistake. He went from a winner to 5th place, which is where he wound up.
Yeah, but how would you like to know going into an event if you had won 5 times here?
Oh, boy. Yeah, led more laps than anybody else, which Rusty has also done.
And he is racing Flash today. That was the original plan, to use Flash today, that he drove to the win at Bristol back in August. They were looking at a lot of different options as to exactly which way to go. That's 12th place on back now. The 3 Dale Earnhardt riding with Ricky Rudd. Unscheduled pit stop at lap 117 for Dave Blaney. He came in at lap 56. So actually this would be, well, still shy because he came back in with everybody else at lap 101 as well. So Dave Blaney does have this unscheduled stop here for the Amoco team. Back onto the racetrack. The 11 of Bodine is a lap down. Fred is a lap down, but again 28 and 3. Battling for 12th spot.
And you can see Earnhardt going in the corner there. Looked like he was running 30 miles an hour faster than Ricky Rudd. But the reason it looked like that is he has all that racetrack to run into. So what he did was just drive deeper into the corner, but he had to slow down more in the center part of the corner.
Of course, Dale had no luck here last year, you might remember. He finished 41st and 40th in the 2 races here last season, but fixed that by finishing second here in February. But last year was just one of those years for Dale Earnhardt.
Crashed in both those races last year. In fact, that crash here in the fall race is the last time he failed to finish a Winston Cup race. He's now gone a whole year if he finishes this one, finishing every single event.
Lap 120, Mayfield continues to lead. Glenn Jarrett.
Well, guys, I'm standing directly in the middle of turns 1 and 2, and right below, if we can see, right with my camera, right below the rock there's an oil pump belt. That's what it looks like to be lying here, and we think that it has come off the 93 car. If he's still out there, I'll guarantee you one thing. He ain't going to be for long.
And
it won't run without that.
He is not. He just went to the garage. So eagle-eye Glenn Jarrett with that spot of the debris in the corner.
And an oil pump belt is exactly what it sounds like. It runs the oil pump. It runs over the pulley and makes the turn, and it supplies the engine with oil. The minute that belt goes away, so does the oil pressure, and everything stops.
Ralph, were we on top of the diagnosis?
Absolutely, Eli. That's exactly what is wrong with the car. The pump oil pulley is what is off. The belt is gone, and they're going to have to replace it before they can put Dave Blaney back into this race.
Blaney is already 7 laps down, running in 42nd. He and Kenny Wallace, the only 2 teams off the racetrack. The other 41 of the 43 starters still out there.
Eli, I've had the strangest things happen talking about an oil pump belt. I had just a small pebble one time get in between the gears that actually make it turn, and it knocked the belt off in Darlington. I had a nice lead down there. Just a little pebble got in there, and it knocked the belt off.
Remarkable lap. 123, Steve. How about tires? What are the teams saying now as we near the midpoint of the race?
Well, we've been talking about tires all day. A minute ago, Buddy Baker talked about the new generation tire and how they have more stagger. It's a very simple explanation. The right side tire is about 1 inch to 1 1/8 inches bigger in diameter. You look at this cup, Buddy said it helps us turn. That's why. The other thing these teams will do is they'll adjust the camber. The right front tire, they'll lean it in just a little bit. You can't see it with the naked eye. That's called negative camber. The left front tire, they lean out. That's positive camber. Just a couple of adjustments they make to increase grip on this racetrack, Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Steve, I want to explain how the oil pump belts come off. That happens a lot here at Rockingham. Now, this is the practice wheel that Jeremy Mayfield's guys use to use their lug nuts. But pretend this is a pulley, and the belt runs on the outside, right in here around this thing. What happens, the tire wear here is so great that rubber builds up, gets on this pulley, and causes the belt to actually ride over the outside of the pulley, slings the belt right off. It's all due to the rubber buildup here at Rockingham.
So those are the stories down pit lane as we work lap 126 of 393. Jeremy Mayfield took the lead at lap number 82. He now sits with 9/10 of a second of an advantage on Jeff Burton. Jeremy Mayfield took the lead at lap number 82. We're now at lap 131, and we continue to watch Jeremy try to wear out the field here at the Rock. Welcome back, everybody. TNN on hand here for the 400-miler here today. I was walking through the garage this morning. Jeff Gordon pulled me aside and said, there's a guy here who's masquerading just as me. He said, if you see him, could slap him around a little bit. Brad Paisley, Arista recording artist. Jeff Gordon says that guys are mistaking you for him.
Well, they, I don't know if they mistake me for him. Definitely not on the interstate, but I...
And I dare say they don't mistake you guys in the recording studio either. Congratulations on a spectacular year.
Thank you.
If you follow country music, you know the Horizon Award, which is an award that goes to the great star of the future, and you walked away with honors at the awards. That was spectacular to see.
Oh, I had an incredible time. What a way to wrap up what's been a wonderful year already.
What do you think of your first trip to a NASCAR race?
Oh, I've had just a great time. I kind of screwed up, though. I used a music term when talking to Dale Earnhardt down there right beforehand. He had me sign his hat for luck because Martina did that a few years back and won. And
what'd you say to Dale?
I actually told him, I said, man, tear it up out there. And he didn't like that at all.
Really? Yeah. Hey, how was your trip to Japan? I understand you just made a trip to the Orient.
We actually did. We ended up going out there last week for 5 or 6 days and just had a wonderful, wonderful time. And it's really a wonderful country. They treat you. It's great over there and seem to love country music.
Brad Paisley, we wish you the very best. It's been a remarkable, wonderful year for you. Keep those #1 hits coming, and don't be a stranger. Come by and visit again.
I'll be back. Thanks so much.
Good to see you. Brad Paisley, Arista recording artist and one of the brightest young stars in country music today. And you folks follow country music, you know what I'm talking about. We're going to be hearing the name of Brad Paisley for many, many years to come.
By the way, you do look like Jeff Gordon.
And you want to consider yourself fortunate in that regard.
There you see some of the telemetry numbers on John Andretti. He's running in 30th spot right now. You know, I sound like Brad Paisley sometimes.
Boy.
In the shower.
I've heard you sing, Eli. I don't know about that.
Paying attention to John Andretti just then. He was turning 8,900. That's asking a lot out of the motor. That's RPMs. That means that piston's got to go up and down 89,000 times. I mean, that is turning it on. 8,900, pardon me, yes.
That's turning it anyway.
Well, Jeremy is losing a little bit of ground, but I will tell you, I don't think the skipping that he has is that much of a problem because we have watched this little act before, and Jeff Burton is very, very good after the tires come in and starts to lose a little bit of grip, where Jeremy's dropping back just a little bit.
Again, a challenge from Jeff Burton to the high side. This one may pay off. So Jeremy Mayfield, who took the lead at lap number 82, will yield it here at lap number 140. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, guys, you know, we reported right after that restart that Jeremy had a miss in the car, and he kept talking about it. It's obvious it hadn't slowed the car down very much. He just now lost the lead, and he's driven away pretty much from everybody except Jeff Burton. They're speculating now that possibly they may have had a cracked header pipe, which to the driver can make the thing sound like that it's missing sometimes. But they say everything looks to be okay on the car. They're not too worried about it. One more thing, when I was talking about that oil pump belt coming off, the rubber getting between the pulley and the belt, the reason it doesn't happen more often or to more cars is a lot of the cars, including Jeremy Mayfield's cars here, run a shield over that cover to prevent just that from happening. Oh, and one other thing is Paisley, is he the guy that named the tie after?
No, we're not going to let you get by with that just because your name's Jarrett. That Paisley tie.
I understand. I felt ignoring it would have been the best approach.
You know, that happens to guys that have been in TV a long time, and you can tell he's been here a long time.
And around those fumes, too.
Oh, yeah.
We're at lap 142, as you see, and those are the numbers with the average speed. That has been slowed only once by caution. That's when that loose oil line sent Michael Waltrip to the pits. Dave Blaney remains in the garage. They're working on the oil pump belt, and Kenny Wallace losing an engine just 14 laps in, and he was the first retiree of the afternoon.
Dale Jarrett has really picked it up here. He's given Rusty Wallace a hard time of it. Jarrett has been on the run towards the front since the start of the race.
And we talk about people that should have won this fall race. Nobody should have won it more often than Dale Jarrett in the last few years. He's led more laps than anybody else in this race. 3 out of the last 4 years. Finished second here 6 times in Winston Cup. Second in Busch Grand National 3 times. Looking to win his first ever Winston Cup race here at Rockingham today. Hard to believe he's never won one.
Yeah, that forward drive he had, Eli, coming up out of the corner. You don't see that after the tires go away. He's getting great forward bite, as we talked about.
Steve Burns, he took that spot away from Rusty Wallace.
Yeah, and Rusty also lost the spot to Jeff Gordon a bit ago. That's because Rusty radioed into Robin Pemberton, the crew chief, and said the car is tight. Robin said, just hang on, conserve that right front tire. We've got a long way to go on this set of tires.
TNN Sports is at the North Carolina Speedway. The track opened in the fall of 1965 and became the 5th super speedway to get a permanent spot on NASCAR's regular schedule. We're back in a moment. Welcome back, everybody. Jeff Burton continues to lead here at the North Carolina Speedway. TNN Sports is here live. I'm Eli Gold with Buddy Baker and Dick Berggren. Down on the pit lane, Glenn Jarrett, Ralph Shaheen, Steve Burns. We are closing in on the start of pit stops for some. Jerry Nadeau elects to make a stop here at lap number 153. But there is the second place man, Jeremy Mayfield. He is 0.8 of a second behind Jeff Burton. They are obviously at this moment among the 15 on the lead lap. Then you drop back 5 full seconds to third place Jeff Gordon. Then you have to go 1.5 seconds behind him to Dale Jarrett, who is running in the 4th spot. So now you've got from first place back to 4th, 6 6/10 of a second separating those drivers. Next, you've got Rusty Wallace and Bobby Labonte. Pretty good scramble there, but Ralph, they're 8.5 seconds back.
Well, one thing that the 18 team is doing well today, Eli, is they're staying very focused on their pit stops. They had a little bit of trouble with the first pit stop, if you remember. Bobby Labonte took all the blame. He reported back to the crew. He said, guys, I'm sorry about that. I didn't feel like I've been very good all season long with my speed down pit road. I tried to get a little bit quicker into the box, and I overshot it. But the one thing the crew did well, Eli, to show you how focused they are, they realized that if they had worked on the car while he had slid out of the box, that would have been a penalty, costing them even more. Nobody panicked. They backed the car up, then went to work on the car. Their next pit stop was a 15.2. They have not been able to get 2 rocks out of their normal strategy.
Caution on the back straightaway, as there you see Robbie Gordon having spun off turn number 2 to bring out caution number 2 of the afternoon at lap number 156. Racetrack narrowing up off the corner, and Robbie finds himself up against the inside wall.
Eli, that second corner over there, we talked about it before the race started, about how difficult that corner is. You come off turn 2 over there, he's against the back straightaway wall on the inside there. You see him moving around in the car. That's a good thing, because there's a lot of damage to the front of that car.
He's had a tough year this year. 4 races he's failed to qualify. If he can't get going in this one, it's going to be 7 DNFs and just 16 starts. It's been a really difficult year for Robbie Gordon.
Let's see if we can tell a little bit better what happened here. He's going to be sideways coming by us.
Just coming off that corner there, and you come over that little rise there in the center part, and the car just turned around and into the inside wall as he slid across the racetrack.
One thing is for sure, if Robbie was given some help from behind, he will tell us.
Oh, yeah.
He is not one to
he's not shy,
cut anybody any slack. And now pit stops. These will be at lap 158. Lap 158. Remember, we have seen Pruitt along with Daryl Waltrip and Jerry Nadeau pit moments ago. Everybody else coming in here at lap 158.
This is a good break for Rusty Wallace. He was tight. They'll take 1 pound out of the right front tire, half a pound out of the left rear tire. Try to tighten it up for Rusty Wallace. Let's go to Ralph.
Half-pound air pressure adjustments on the right side of the car for Jeff Gordon. He said the front of the car been a little bit loose, but that's all he wants to do to the car. Glenn?
I'm watching Jeremy Mayfield. Great pit stop. Rusty Wallace puts them all out. Mayfield hits 4 tires and gets out second. I was looking to see if maybe they went under the hood, because Jeremy still says that the car has a miss, but they did not attend to that. Only a slight chassis adjustment, 4 tires and fuel for Mayfield.
So all of these stops under caution as Robbie Gordon, you see, waves to the fans and walks away from his battered machine on the back straightaway. Now as the left cars make their pit stops, the fans are enjoying a beautiful day here at the Rock. TNN Sports live coverage of the Pop Secret Microwave Popcorn 400 is being brought to you by Team Monte Carlo. The cars more champions depend on. Chevy, we'll be there. There's a great look at the Rock. Up the bell sounds. Either it's time for round 2 or the popcorn is ready. What a great logo that was, huh?
Wow, huh?
There's a great look at the Sand Hills of North Carolina and the North Carolina Speedway here in Rockingham. Rusty Wallace leads, Jeremy Mayfield, then Dale Jarrett and Jeff Burton. There you see some other pit stops taking place now as Bill Elliott has come in. Mark Martin is in yet again. This will be Mark's 3rd stop, the 2nd for Bill Elliott.
And also, Johnny Benson's made several stops under this caution here, and that's to adjust right now. They're back in the pack, and they need to adjust on the cars so they can get back up front.
Steve, what's the deal with the Mark Martin stops here?
Well, first they had a problem with the air gun. They had a problem with the socket. A lug nut got caught up. Now they're putting a spring rubber in the left front. They insert the spring rubber to make the spring stiffer for Mark Martin. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
And Bill Elliott was back in for another stop. They were doing something to the right rear of his car. His car has been extremely loose. I'll get a word to see exactly what they did. I could not see. Let's talk about Jeff Burton for just a moment. He came in leading and came out 4th. The reason for it was he is pitted right next to Bill Elliott. Bill was just entering his pit as they let the jack down on Jeff's car to come out. And he got blocked in momentarily there. That's why he lost the positions.
So Burton's running 4th. Elliott is 24th. Benson 26th. Martin is 27th. And Rusty Wallace came in 5th, came out with the lead. Wrenchhead.com with millions of brand name auto parts and accessories to choose from. It's easy to prove you're a wrench head. Are you a wrench head? Wrenchhead.com. Parts online all the time. I've learned. Last time I called Buddy Mr. Wrenchhead, you called me Mr. Lunchbox. And that name has followed me now from coast to coast and around the world. So I will say nothing at all. We continue under caution. NASCAR's got the jet out there to blow some of the debris away. There's Tony Stewart. Haven't talked much about him. Tony finished 12th in both Rockingham races last year, was 4th here in February, and now he has moved from 18th all the way up to the top 10. Let's go to his pit for an update.
Well, Eli, Tony running in 10th right now is actually pretty surprising because Tony's not feeling very well today. He told me this morning as we were standing up in the transporter talking that he had been up most of the night, very ill, was having lots of different flu-like symptoms, and just was pretty weak today. But he's fighting through it. And then, Buddy, as you would know, getting in the car, Glenn Jarrett, you can start racing, and sometimes it just helps you feel a little bit better.
Well, I don't know, Ralph. I always felt a heck of a lot worse after the race than I did before because I always ran so bad, but I guess that's not the case with Tony. Let's talk about Bill Elliott. We're going to tell you what happened over there when we couldn't see. They were actually measuring the track bar. They have made so many adjustments on that car today with the track bar. It's been so loose that they really kind of lost track of where they were. So they went out there to measure it from the track bar to the ground to just see how much further they could go. Meanwhile, let's go all the way up back to the front of the pack to Jeremy Mayfield. And remember, we're still talking about that miss. Peter Suspinzo radioed back to Jeremy after the pit stop. So, Jeremy, the tailpipes are nice and gray. Now, what that tells us is if there's no incomplete combustion, if there was a problem, a miss, or a cylinder that wasn't firing, there would be some black on the tailpipes. They don't see that. The miss is still a mystery.
And Glenn's exactly right. When the car is running properly, it looks like a snow cone almost. Absolutely snow white, the exhaust. If you're having a problem, it'll have black spots all over the exhaust.
So as the field gets the 1 to go signal, we are closing in on the restart. Lap 166 on the board right now of 393.
Eli, I was talking about the Tony Stewart situation not long ago, and when you're sick like that, when you go into a race, the more you sweat, the better you feel. You actually have an improvement, and also the car is working much better than it did when he first started. He was almost a lap down before the caution a while ago.
Hey, folks, before we go back to green, let's remind you about Phoenix International Raceway. That's where TNN will be in just a few weeks, and they still have some great tickets left for their upcoming NASCAR weekend, November 2nd through 5th. The ticket office is open right now. It's open tonight all week long at the phone number you see on the screen, 602-252-2227. Or if you'd like, you can get tickets online 24 hours a day at PhoenixInternationalRaceway.com. So check it out. We'll see you in Phoenix, November 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Labonte in 8th.
And you can see the 3-car of Dale Earnhardt just in front of him. And Dale right now would love to be up in the front and Bobby Labonte go to the rear because that points race goes on.
Riding with John Andretti.
He was slow to get up to start, and cars passed him on both the inside and the outside. Andretti's car not performing up to snuff right now.
Let's just check out some of those numbers for Andretti then. Remember, we saw 8,900 RPMs earlier from others.
Still 8,800, so he's going down the straightaway. Right here is his problem. You can see in the corners there, not getting up out of the corner the way he would like.
LePage and Sadler right behind, and there you see it from the overhead view.
Page, another good driver with an uncertain future. They're looking for a sponsor for number 16. If they find it, they should be all set to run in year 2001. If not, Page is shopping for a ride.
I dare say you and Ralph and everybody talked about it yesterday, buddy, how Chad Little is going back to the NASCAR Busch Series with Base Motorsports.
Yeah, and we talked to the car owner of Base Motorsports yesterday, and he says we're going to run some Winston Cup also. So we're going to run, of course, the championship in Busch Grand National. A tremendous break for Chad Little.
Remember how good he was in that Greg Pollock's own machine when he ran in the Busch Series?
1995, won 5 races in that car, almost won the championship. Know who took it away from him? Base Motorsports.
Indeed. As they've resurrected that number 74. And there you see Kenny Schrader in the 36, the 4, Bobby Hamilton. There's Tony Stewart running in 9th place right now, working alongside the 27 of Mike Bliss, who is in 32nd. Bliss is a lap down.
It's a new car for Tony Stewart, brand new car. They brought it here, did a test with it along with Bobby Labonte, and they were delighted with the performance of this car. Zippy said, Zippy was his crew chief, Greg Zippidelli, said it was fast right out of the box, and he anticipated a top 5 finish today. Easy. Had not expected to be running deep in the back the way he has been.
And he is catching Bobby Labonte just in front of him there. Dale Earnhardt, you can see right up against the wall coming off the corner as he goes by Andretti down the back straightaway.
Dick Bergman alluded, Tony Stewart did test here on October 10th and 11th, as 3rd place now is being battled for. And Jeff Burton in the 99 will take it away from Dale Jarrett, though not without a good little battle.
Jeff Burton has run incredibly well today with that car. If you were with us at New Hampshire and watched Jeff Burton lead every single lap back in September, this car, same car, trouble on the backstretch. Big trouble.
That's going to be Jimmy Spencer and Mark Martin getting collected on the back straightaway. Caution is on the speedway for the 3rd time. Spencer was running in 26th. Or excuse me, Spencer was running in 17th. Mark Martin in 26.
And Mike Skinner also involved there. He got his car righted and he's going around the racetrack, but there is damage and the roof flaps are up, so he's been around.
There you see the Lowe's Chevrolet for Mike Skinner. Also involved, he was running in the 25th position. So 3 cars going around, lap 175. There's Mr. Excitement, having far too much excitement for his liking.
Mark Martin moving around in the car. You see the that's the overflow tube there. The car running very hot when he hit the wall there. I guess it mashed the radiator flat.
That car is really wrecked.
Meanwhile, Robbie Gordon was involved in an accident just a short while ago. And we will check in with Steve Burns standing by with Robbie.
And Robbie's already changed into his street clothes. Robbie, what happened?
Just got loose out there. Tires were going off pretty bad at the end. I know it's the same for everybody, and I must have got on the gas just a little too hard and turned it around. Extremely disappointed. Needed a good run for our sponsors.
All right, let's go back to Eli.
All right, guys, thank you. A very honest man right there, Robbie Gordon. Pit stops now for all the lead machines. First to Ralph Shaheen.
Well, no adjustments to the car for Jeff Gordon. They're very happy with the 24. He pulled a little problem with the left front and a minor chassis adjustment for Bobby Labonte. Glenn Jarrett.
And Jeremy Mayfield already down and away. 4 tires, no chassis adjustments that time. Also, Jeff Burton just left the pit in, I believe, 3rd or 4th position. I couldn't tell exactly which. But Jeff had reported that set of tires on his car was just a little bit tighter than the ones before. So they made a slight adjustment to that. Everybody's got fresh rubber, ready to go again.
And let me amend what I said that everybody pitted. Everybody did not pit. Russell William Wallace has stayed on the racetrack.
And his crew chief has just come on the radio and said this will probably cost us a little bit. Now, it had only been a few laps since they were in the pits before, and they decided to stay there. Let's see if we can reach Rusty and find out why they decided to do what they did here. Take us a second to get all the electronics cooking. Rusty, it's Dick Bergman. Can you hear me?
I got you. Go ahead.
How come you guys decided to stay out?
We just decided to stay out. That's about it. We thought everybody'd stay with us, but evidently the whole field come down pit road. Generally, with only 7 laps on the tires, you wouldn't pit.
Well, hope it works out for you, Rusty. Good luck.
All right.
Very matter of fact right there. We just decided because that was the call we wanted to make. The reason we are under caution here on laps 175 for this incident, we watch it from the helicopter, exiting off turn 2. Little hit from behind. Looked like Dale Earnhardt Jr. from that angle got right into the caboose of Jimmy Spencer. And we'll have to didn't see that again, but it certainly looked like he gave Jimmy the hit.
Yeah, and behind them, it was that thing we see every week when a wreck in front, you start to check up, people get involved. You watch Mark Martin right here. He'll run in the back of Skinner. Into the inside wall. Very hard.
Watch it again from high overhead, and let's look and see who gets into Spencer. Looks like Earnhardt Jr.
Right there, they touch right in this area right here. You can see there goes Spencer into the inside wall. Watch him hit almost head on into the inside wall, spinning round and around. Now, Mark Martin and these guys, Mark comes off the corner, and you can see Skinner back off. Mark didn't have time to check up, hit him in the back, and that set the chain reaction off.
So certainly Mark Martin and Jimmy Spencer going to the garage area. Mike Skinner is able to continue. There's Mark Martin walking away. That's got to be a sick old feeling when it's not your doing and you get caught up in somebody else's mess. So we are under caution for the third time this afternoon here at the Rock. Mark Martin, none too pleased. We're back in a moment. TNN Sports live coverage of the Pop Secret Microwave Popcorn 400 is being brought to you by Budweiser. With the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. Welcome back, TNN. Its final visit to Rockingham, and we are happy to be with you here this afternoon on a beautiful day. Let's clarify quickly. Rusty Wallace figures he's 7 or 8 laps off everybody else as far as tires, and you're at home saying, well, heck, he pitted at 158. Now this is 176, 18 laps. Remember, though, 10 of those laps were run under caution because of the accident involving Robbie Gordon. So as far as real racing laps, let's see what 7 or 8 laps of a difference means, if anything. Well, John Andretti able to pick up the lap he was in arrears. So he's now on the tail end of the lead lap. Wally Donovan back going around. He'll pick up the lap on Rusty Wallace.
So far, it looks like those few laps matter a lot.
Elliott Sadler back on the tail end of the lead lap. Kevin LePage the same.
Whoa, Jeff Burton just slides in there in the 99 car. You see him side by side there as they go down in the corner. But he had a great run underneath Rusty Wallace. And here he looks to the bottom side. 3 wide for the lead.
Riding with Dale Jarrett. Mayfield at the stripe gets it. So Jeremy Mayfield will take over the lead at lap 183.
Moments there, Rusty Spotter was saying inside and outside. They were trying to get him on both sides, which is the worst of all possible situations if you're the leader of the race.
Jeff Burton grabbing second. Meanwhile, in the infield, Steve Burns with Mark Martin.
And Mark Martin has just come out of the infield care center. Let's check out, see how he is. Mark, first of all, are you okay, and what happened?
I'm fine. I don't know. Just aggravated. I don't know. There looked like a wreck starting to happen up in front of me there. I couldn't see it. I had a windshield full of the 31 car, so I don't know what happened. We just got behind on a pit stop. That's what happens when you do that sometimes.
He doesn't have to say much more than that. The frustration just ringing true through his voice. Now let's see. Dale Jarrett's gotten by Rusty Wallace. Jeff Gordon trying it as well. So now we know what 7 laps of abuse on the tires means here at Rockingham.
And also you question why they put 4 tires on these cars every time they get a chance under caution. They get so much better grip. I can't begin to tell you. It's like almost 3 to 4 tenths a lap. Fresh tires against the old tires. Look at this.
Riding with John Andretti.
Remember, though, it's usually follow the leader, and that's precisely what Rusty and his crew chief, Robin Pemberton, had expected. The usual, follow the leader. If he stayed out, they expected everybody else to stay out.
Anywhere but Rockingham, I got to tell you, I get tires every chance I could get. You see, right there, Ward Burton getting by also. Rusty's falling back.
If you've lost track as to exactly where your favorite is, like Dale Earnhardt or whomever, just follow the timing and scoring there in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. Brought to you by Napa. You will want to find out why you need genuine Napa replacement parts. Simple, because some things just can't be replaced. Napa, bringing you NASCAR timing and scoring. That's fourth place, the battle on your screen.
I'm telling you, watch Ward Burton in that 22 today. He's good.
Seventh place right behind there. Ricky Rudd in the black 28. Earnhardt in the black 3. Then Tony Stewart in the orange 20. Steve Park in the yellow and black number 1. They're all battling for position. So too the green 18 of Bobby Labonte.
And Tony Stewart, anybody that watches him all year long, he stays right on that white line, down lower than anyone else on the racetrack, and it pays off for him. They get in a little bit faster, but when he picks up the throttle, that car really accelerates from that low line.
Oh, look how close Ricky Rudd came to the wall. Just about nudged it.
That's about as close as you can come and not hit the thing.
Tony Stewart makes the move and grabs a spot away from Ricky Rudd up into the 8th position. See how close they get to the wall this time.
This is just perfect for Earnhardt. He's used to running on the old bi-ply tire where you would use the whole racetrack up. So this is nothing new for him. This is old turkey. He just goes up there and turns the car left right against the wall and just rockets off down the straightaway.
Hey, Ralph, this pack of traffic is looking like Talladega.
Well,
before we go to Ralph, caution on the back straightaway, as Terry Labonte has some problems after running so very well earlier, and he will bring out the caution flag. Terry Labonte, who is running in the top 20, now brings out the 4th caution of the day. Ralph, I was about to say that pack of traffic looked like some of those drafts at Talladega yesterday or last weekend.
Eli, this is going to be really interesting, this next pit stop, because things are getting very, very tense down here on pit road between the 18 team and the 1 team. They've been in each other's faces after each pit stop, doing a lot of pointing and a lot of pushing and a lot of talking loudly at each other about giving each other room down here. It's a little tense down here, and they're pitted right next door to each other. They're looking over each other right now as they're up on the wall, hoping that they'll give each other enough room to play this pit stop the way they want to.
And you saw they're coming down together too. Park and Bobby Labonte are nose to tail in 10th and 11th. So everybody making pit stops. You know who this is a big old break for is Rusty Wallace getting fresh tires now.
Saved his day.
He's saying thank you for that caution.
He needed it.
Let's watch this here. Let's see if Ralph will be enough to report this or if we have to bring in the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco. Ralph?
Here they come, Eli. The 1 dives in and the 18 right behind him. Now there's been conversations about which way the 1 rolls tires back and so forth, and whether or not the 18 is going to have enough room. So far, everything has been clear. Crew chiefs have been talking. Team members have been talking to each other, trying to keep things calm. The cars are going to finish about the same time. Bobby almost slides around, taking the back end of the 1 out. This time, things go pretty smooth, and everybody goes back to their benches.
I love watching pit stops. I just love watching pit stops. Good ones like that. Meanwhile, we are under caution because of Terry Labonte's problems on lap 192, bringing out the 4th caution flag of the afternoon. Let's see if we can pick out what happens here. Terry's inside of Rick Mast.
The back end of the car just starts around right there. Kurt Busch on the brakes really hard in that green car, and Terry spins right off turn 2, right into the inside wall.
Don't know if Kurt might have been involved, whether the air came off the rear spoiler, what have you. But certainly Terry Labonte went around coming off the number 2 corner. So pit stops now for the cars that are a lap down. These stops are at lap 194. Back to the Rock in a moment. Welcome back to the Rock. The Pop Secret Microwave Popcorn 400 under caution for the 4th time this afternoon. Moments ago, Steve Burns caught up with Jimmy Spencer as he made his way out of the racetrack.
But Jimmy, tell us what happened.
And the Kmart car was running really good, you know, and cars were racing pretty hard there, and we just was trying to give them a little bit of room and just got hit from behind, you know. I don't know who hit us. I'm sure they didn't mean it. It's a racing deal, but never fails that when you have a good car, that happens, you know. If you're 2 or 3 laps down, the motor's missing or something, it never happens like that. It always happens when you're running good, and took us out at Darlington. They took us out at Richmond the same way, and it's a shame, you know, because we're really trying hard to maintain a top 20 in points, and this is last week, shock mount breaking, this week here getting crashed. There's not a chance in heck of doing it, so it's been a really tough year, you know, and maybe it'll get better next year.
Okay, thanks, Jimmy. Back upstairs.
That conversation moments ago. Again, Jimmy was taken out in an accident back on lap number 175. As he indicates, he was hit from behind. There's the hit right there. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the offending car, and Jimmy Spencer spins away for the end of the day. We are coming now to the green and the crossed flags. This will be halfway home. Interestingly, the leader at halfway has won only 7 of 30 races in the year 2000. Let's see what that number is added to here today. The battle for the lead, as low as you can go on the racetrack. Mayfield and Dale Jarrett.
And they know they better get going, because just behind them, Jeff Burton has really turned it up in the 99 car. That would be the car way up on the racetrack, the third car you see coming around the corner there.
If you're curious about some of the others out there, you see the 28 of Ricky Rudd going by. Riding with him now, he came onto the pit lane in 9th and came out in 5th. So his crew did a job for him. Conversely, the 22 of Ward Burton, who was in that mix earlier, came into the pits in 5th, and he went out in 9th. So those are the biggest changes in on-track position from those pit stops of moments ago.
Remember these pictures a little bit later on in this run. You're seeing everybody who is fast running right on the bottom of the racetrack. Brand new tires. Give those tires some laps, and you're going to see them start to move up the racetrack.
There's a guy on the move right now. Rusty Wallace got those 4 fresh tires, and you can see the car, the line that he's running right now on the bottom of the racetrack. But as you said earlier, Doctor, the 22 of Ward Burton has been strong all day long. Won his first race ever here back in 1995, driving for Dale Davis.
1 win, 6 top 10s, and 12 races here. Hey, folks, as we go to break, here's a question for you. You know me. Sitko says, and you know me because I was a first lieutenant at Hargrave Military Academy in Virginia. I have 4 career Busch Grand National victories. I got my first Winston Cup win here at Rockingham. You know me. We'll be back to introduce you to one of NASCAR's most popular drivers right after this from Sitko. You know me. I am Ward Burton. I got my first Winston Cup win right here at Rockingham in October of 1995. Ward Burton in the spotlight with the folks from Sitko. Ward had a very interesting week. When he left Talladega, he flew to New Mexico for an elk hunt. The Ward Burton Wildlife Foundation auctioned off a 3-day elk hunt with the proceeds benefiting the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. So Ward went from Alabama to New Mexico to the sandhills of North Carolina in this week just concluded. Add to the attrition list Daryl Waltrip. DW has gone to the garage area. I believe Steve Burns has caught up with him.
Eli, the garage area is getting crowded. Daryl, what put you out today?
It's a DNG. Does not go. I've had an intermittent miss in it for quite a while, and I think it broke a camshaft or distributor, or it might be kind of like me. It just got tired of going around in circles. I don't know.
All right, thanks, Daryl. Let's go to Glenn.
Okay, thanks a lot. There's a little bit of a tire situation developing here, guys. Not of the normal type. I'm in Jeremy Mayfield's pits, actually behind his pits. There are only 8 more new tires up here. That's 2 sets. There's a caution out. There's only 2 sets left in the pit area. He's only got 4 sets left. Everybody's in this position. All these short runs, green flag runs, like we just had, they're changing tires, wearing them out, putting them on. They started with 10 sets of tires. They're going to have to get more. These guys that are falling out, their tires are going to be very valuable. Those tires, because they're already aired up, the lug nuts are already glued on them, those are the ones the guys want.
Caution is out for Michael Waltrip in turn 4.
Yes, and the right side of that car is flat. He's been up against the wall.
Watch what happened here to the number 7. Up, up, up. And he runs out of racetrack and leaves some debris behind. It was not so much that Michael hit the wall, but that he did leave some debris behind.
And he hit it about 4 or 5 times there, and he just kind of getting his breath back because it looks like it barely kisses the wall, but he comes off the wall, hits it again, and now again.
Hoping to be able to continue, Steve, but a lot of pancake work on that right side.
And we're on the left side of the car, Eli. We can't see what's going on the right side, but the crew is talking to him. It's been a rough day for Michael Waltrip. They're going to put the tire on. And they are now going to send him to the garage area.
So Michael Waltrip had brought out the first caution at lap 99 when the car was smoking. Remember that loose oil line fitting? Now he brings out caution 5. Meanwhile, this is an opportunity for everybody to pit at lap 212. Ralph is in the Jeff Gordon pit.
Well, this time they're going to not only make changes to the tires, putting 4 fresh ones on, but they're going to make a change to the chassis back of the car just half a turn. They will change 4 tires, and so far everything's smooth between the 1 and the 18 crews as well. Right, Jerry?
Jeremy Mayfield back in once again for 4 more fresh good years. He's down and away. Just a little bit of fuel is all he needed. He gets out first, and Ricky Rudd comes out second. I got a suspicion Rudd only changed 2.
So pit stops. The name of the game, lap 212. These pit stops on the 5th caution of the day. Because of this, Michael Waltrip tripped into the wall. From Chesapeake, Virginia, Ricky Rudd, one of the most tenacious racers this sport has seen. He won here in Rockingham in October of '96, that day keeping a streak of wins alive at 14 years in succession. It is, however, a smile and a victory lane wave we have not seen here in the year 2000. But Ricky came onto the pit lane in 5th spot, goes out in 2nd place, and there you see how he has fared in the 400-mile races here at Rockingham. Glenn, a good pit stop for him to get him up to 2nd.
Well, Eli, you're going to have to slap my wrist and step on my toes. I suspicion that they might have only changed 2. They did not. They changed all 4 in 13.5 seconds. An incredible pit stop under the gun there. My apologies to the Robert Yates number 28 crew for even thinking that they might have only changed 2. It was a 4-tire stop, and these guys are pumped up. The race car's been pretty good. It's gotten better and better, so they think that Ricky might have a chance picking up that first victory for Robert Yates Racing.
Meanwhile, Dale Earnhardt Jr. now with another pit stop. He came in with everybody and then pitted again. He has dropped all the way back, Ralph, to 26th. Why that 2nd stop?
Eli, they wanted to fix a fender brace on the left front corner of the car. So they brought it back in, braced it back up, sent it back in.
So there's the update on Dale Earnhardt Jr. going back to green on the lead lap in 26th position. What are you hearing about Jeremy Mayfield's power plant, Dick Berger?
They're saying on the radio that the engine is running better. It's not that they've said the skip has gone away. The skip is not as bad as it has been before. Jeremy says he doesn't understand that. I don't think we do either, do we, buddy?
No, I certainly don't. I will tell you this. If I ever had one skip, I'd want it to skip like that one's doing because it's able to lead the race.
It's skipping on all 8 real good, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Bobby Labonte is in 9th. The NASCAR Winston Cup Series point leader. Remember, if he finishes 10th or better in every remaining race, the title is his, regardless of what Dale Earnhardt does. In this pack of traffic here from 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th places.
And that red car on the inside there, that's Andy Houston from the truck division. He will be in this car full time next year, so they're giving him a little bit of seat time now. Doing a very good job, getting a lot of time on the racetrack, and as you can see, not that far off the good cars.
He's a rookie who has earned his way into the Winston Cup Series through the Craftsman Truck Division. Has been a strong driver there. Paid attention to what he needed to pay attention to. Won a bunch of races. Here he is.
He's giving Nadeau a hard time, though. He moved right up in front of the 25 car there, Jerry Nadeau. They almost made contact.
Of course, they are running for position, Houston and Nadeau. They're 31st and 32nd, 2 laps down. So it's not like either man is necessarily in the other man's way. They are running for position. There's 7th place on your screen. Dale Earnhardt. 2 of Rusty Wallace. The 43 of Andretti, he's a lap down. John is in 28th. But he does give us a good view of the action.
John's car just has not run well for him today.
Brett Bodine in the red car, number 11 there. And just behind him, you see Bobby Labonte just struggling right now at the moment, not up near the front.
If you're just tuning in, Kenny Wallace went out with engine failure on lap 14. Dave Blaney went out with an oil pump belt that went away on lap 115. Robbie Gordon was in an accident at lap 156. Mark Martin and Jimmy Spencer were involved in a tangle lap 175. They went out then. Terry Labonte in an accident went out at lap 192. Daryl Waltrip's car just would not run, and he went out a short while ago. And then Michael Waltrip with that trip into the wall at lap 210. Steve Burns, good battle between Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace.
Yeah, there might be an interesting battle. To follow up on what Glenn Jarrett said about the tires between those two teams. I was in Rusty Wallace's pits for a bit watching his stops. While I was here, Kenny Wallace's tire guys dropped off 4 sets of tires. Of course, you mentioned a second ago, Eli, that Kenny dropped out on about lap 14. He said, I tried to sell these tires, but I'm just going to leave them here in the stall for one of the trucks to pick up after the race. Well, by the time I got back here, those tires had disappeared. And guess where they wound up? Not in Brother Rusty's pits, but in Dale Earnhardt's pits.
Wow.
I was betting that your tagline would have been the other guy.
I'd say Thanksgiving will have a little more conversation in the Wallace family this week. You know what I'm noticing, though? I talked about Bobby Labonte just a second ago, not having his car and struggling. He's not struggling. That car is running very, very well. He apparently didn't get out of the pits very quickly just a second ago, but that car is really nailed to the bottom of the racetrack. He's doing a great job.
Ralph's down there alongside Jimmy Makar, the crew chief for Earnhardt. Look at that, the guys who are battling for the Winston Cup point lead, also battling on the racetrack for 8th place.
And they almost came together. They really did.
Ralph, it was a great battle to watch.
It is a spectacular battle to watch between these two, Eli. You talked about crew chief Jimmy Makar and his driver Bobby Labonte. Well, what they do is they set their cars up for longer runs. The last 2 runs have been 15 and 20 lap runs, not long enough for the 18 to really come in. They're hoping for long runs here today at Rockingham. Now, the other smart thing they did was they figured there would be a tire problem here today, so they brought 14 sets of Goodyear tires with them today. So right now, they're not so concerned about having to get tires from other teams.
Got to plan ahead in this business.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, as you watch Bobby Labonte run as hard as he is running right now, you might wonder why he's doing that, why he doesn't just back off and ride around a little bit. After all, he's got a 210-point lead, and if anything's going to cost him the championship, it'll be having an accident or something of that nature. But Bobby's attitude is he's not going to change anything. He's driven strong, he's driven hard, he's driven aggressively all year. That's gotten him here. He's afraid if he changes anything at all, that it may cost him more.
There's 3rd place up for grabs, Gordon and Jarrett. They're 2.5 seconds behind the leader, Jeremy Mayfield.
And just behind Ricky Rudd, who's running along in 2nd spot right now on the 28 car, just in front of this group.
You realize Bobby Labonte, you were talking about him before, only 2 finishes all year, worse than 20th. I mean, that's unbelievable. One was at Talladega, one was at Richmond.
How about this? 41 races in a row. He's finished every single race since Bristol in August of last year, and nobody has run that many races, finishing every single one of them besides Bobby.
And you go through the garage area on race morning like we did early this morning, and they have a checklist just like a flight group. I mean, every piece of that race car was laying in the floor. They check it, they put it back in the car, and then somebody signs off on it. Every piece of that car was checked this morning.
Lap 231, the lead is 2 4/10 seconds from that man, Mayfield, back to Ricky Rudd, as Roger Penske talks to his driver on the radio. We are under caution. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car is in the garage after a problem on the back straightaway. Meanwhile, the teams are pitting again, and for those who are running short on available tires, they've got to use up more Goodyears right here. Our resident professor, Glenn Jarrett, says these guys are only averaging 30 laps per set of tires. Let's go down to the pit, Steve.
And Dale Jarrett saying he's got right side tires on, no chassis adjustments, but they will make an air pressure adjustment. Left side tires on for Dale Jarrett. He's away. Let's go to Ralph.
They're going to make a slight chassis adjustment to Jeff Gordon. He is done and away, and everything going pretty smooth between the 18 and the 1. Glenn?
And Jeremy Mayfield in for 4 more fresh Goodyears. And wow, Ricky Rudd beats him out. Another great stop for Rudd as he beats Mayfield out. Now, I did some quick math, and I told you guys it might be 8 sets or 30 laps per set. It might be 25. By my count, that was the 9th set of tires that they have put on these cars already. That equates out to about 14 sets of tires for the race. Man, this is going to be an expensive day for the car owners. I'm glad I don't have to pay this tire bill.
All right, lap 236, we said on the air tires would be some sort of the story. Didn't take an Einstein to figure that out for Rockingham, and it has been certainly the case again. Let's see why we are under caution. Watch the red number 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Maybe a little shove from behind. And there is the result.
Wow.
And watch this here. Watch him clear things out. Goes right through the garage. Takes out a couple of garbage cans there. Robert Presley, let's see what he was able to see. I wonder if Kurt Busch shoved him. It looked like he did.
There wasn't much question about that, Eli. He got done getting off that corner, but he made contact with Jimmy Spencer. It's just one of those racing deals, as they say, coming off the corner over there.
So Kurt Busch giving Dale Earnhardt Jr. a shove. That sends Jr. to the garage after he had worked his way up to 20th spot. The green flag flies here at Rockingham as we are back to work at lap 240 of 393. Elliott Sadler unlapping himself right there. So he is on the tail end of the lead lap. Ricky Rudd is the race leader. And Ricky really owes it to his pit crew today. Lap 159, Rudd came onto the pit lane in 9th, came out in 5th. Lap 183, he pitted in 5th place, came out in 2nd. Lap 236, he came in 2nd, went out with the lead. But he's going to have a handful here with Jeremy Mayfield.
Yeah, he's going to really have a tough time, Jeremy Mayfield, on fresh tires right there. You can see the grip that he got in the center part of the corner, just drove right by Ricky Rudd.
So the leader is Mayfield. Ahead of him is Elliott Sadler, who, as we said, is on the tail end of the lead lap, going through your picture.
Of course, you wonder if Ricky is just trying to take it easy on those tires, doesn't want to beat them up so early in this run. It's about $1,500 to put a set of these tires on, so if you run through about 10 sets of tires, you spend about $15,000.
Amazing. Some of these machine parts and some of the specialty parts, heck, shock absorbers, buddy, are so expensive now.
How about $2,800 for just a basic good set of shocks? I can remember my first race car. We paid $2,400 for it and planned to run it for a year.
For the whole car?
Yeah.
Yeah. $2,800 for a set of shocks.
Set of shocks. And you look in a race hollow down there, there'll be 15 or 20 sets of shocks in there.
Biggest expense, I'll bet, is personnel, though. You take a team like Rusty Wallace, they've got 60 people for the car alone, plus the engine shop. You think about those salaries.
That's second, third, and fourth on the screen right there. The 11 is not in the mix. That's Brett Bodine.
And Rusty Wallace showing a tremendous amount of power in that number 2 car there. He and Jeff Burton right now making that lower line work. Rusty's got a great car down the straightaway here today.
Rudd running in second position. He's had a second place finish already this year. You know, this guy has been lurking around the top in front of so many races. It's almost guaranteed he's going to win one soon. The deal is win it this year before the calendar flips.
You know, one thing we need to establish here, we were talking about tires and this team getting tires and that team. There is no shortage of tires here. Goodyear does have tires available. So we don't want anybody to get the wrong impression that there is a shortage of Racing Eagles on the premises. That's not at all the case. But it's always a case of the more the merrier. But there are tires in the Goodyear building available for those teams.
And when he says Racing Eagles, he's talking about the Goodyear Eagle. That's what the racing tire is called. And yeah, there's no shortage. It's just how many you mount up and have in your pits.
Well, there's 2 different lines for you.
At 7th place, changing hands.
And there comes Tony Stewart in a 20 car. We haven't talked that much about him, but that car is working right on the bottom of the racetrack, and that's his little groove. And everybody else is starting to make that upper side or try to make it work, but he is flying around the bottom.
Buddy, was it tougher racing a man who was 3 lanes away from you versus, for instance, like we're seeing Stewart and Ward there? Was it tough getting a good perspective if you're racing a man who's up against the wall while you're on the apron?
A great point. The one thing you have to do is run your groove and forget about that car on the high side. If you're watching, you'll overdrive the car trying to keep up with a guy that has more racetrack to use. And this will go on for a little while because both of them are very, very close as far as their race cars. But Tony Stewart, you can see now they'll come right back together down the straightaway side by side.
Steve Burns in the garage. They have not officially retired Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car. How extensive is the damage?
Well, they haven't retired, Eli, because there's 16 guys on that Budweiser team working on this car, trying to get it back on the race. You know, Dick Bergen was just talking about personnel. 16 or 17 guys underneath this car, around this car. And one quick follow-up, guys. Scott Deal, who works on the 20 car, was down here trying to buy tires off the 8 car, and they said, hey, not so fast. We're going to try and get back in the race.
Always wheeling and dealing. But Dale Earnhardt Jr. hoping to get back into competition here this afternoon. The Ray Bestis Rookie of the Year battle is still far from over. Matt Kenseth has 27 points of a lead on Dale Earnhardt Jr. He'll really pad his lead on Dave Blaney today because Blaney will finish 42nd. But that's why you want to get back out there for the Ray Bestis Rookie of the Year points. Kenseth and Dale Earnhardt Jr. still very much in a pretty strong battle. Kenseth right now running in 17th spot. Jeremy Mayfield by 2 3/10 seconds. He's got the lead on Jeff Burton. CNN Sports live coverage of the Pop Secret Microwave Popcorn 400 is being brought to you by the Wide Track Grand Prix by Pontiac. Wider is better. We are under caution here at Rockingham. Kevin LePage and Sterling Marlin tangled in turn 3. We'll get back to that in a moment. First to Ralph Shaheen.
Bobby Labonte has been working on his entry into the pit box all afternoon. He's gotten it smooth and perfect this time. They're going to do a ½ pound of air pressure in on the left front, a ½ pound out of the left rear. They're hoping this racetrack gets slicker. Bobby says that'll separate the men from the boys today. What?
Well, Ralph, we've moved down to Ricky Rudd's pitch this time. We wanted to see just how they were doing it. This stop was not quite as quick as the last one, although he did pull off a 14.18 stop, and he may have beat him out for the lead again. I'm telling you, these guys are doing an incredible job. Jeff Burton, meanwhile, was also in for 4 tires and a slight chassis adjustment. The last 2 sets of tires, Jeff has not liked quite as well, so they're still adjusting on his car just a little.
So that's what's happening down on the pit lane. The reason we are under caution is for this tangle up in turns 3 and 4. Sterling Marlin and Kevin LePage.
You can see right there Sterling's car breaks sideways as they go in. He takes the 16 of Kevin LePage, and they had major contact there going into turn 3.
And Sterling is driven away. Kevin LePage climbed from the car under his own power. In the garage area, let's get an update on Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Well, the crew is still working very hard on the car. Dale, what happened? And I guess secondly, can you get back in this race? Or do you want to?
Yeah. I don't know if I want to, but we're going to try and fix the Budweiser Chevrolet. We got a little help from Kurt Busch, but I know he probably didn't mean to do it, so it's cool. I won't go back out there and try to kill him. But we had a good run.
Thanks, Dale.
What a comment. He said, I won't go back out there and kill him. Holy cow.
Nothing else to say other than we will be back to Rockingham right after this. We are back at Rockingham, North Carolina. Glad you're with us here on TNN. It's time now for our lesson of the day as far as roadside etiquette. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, remember, when parking on a hill, always set your parking brake. Watch. Kevin LePage is looking.
The car just takes off by itself.
Folks, there's nobody in the car. Kevin LePage is looking around for Alan Funt.
Well, they wanted to be close to the corner workers there.
Oh, my, we're seeing a bit of everything. If you're a Carl Long fan, he has returned to the racetrack. He went out a while ago and finds himself some 44 or so laps in arrears. Meanwhile, Sterling Marlin has made his way back to the garage area after the accident of moments ago. What's the update?
Well, Sterling's talking to crew chief Scott Eggleston and getting tangled up here in the courts. Sterling, what happened?
I don't know. I wish somebody tell me, but, you know, I got up under Kevin, and I thought it was going pretty straight down the straightaway, and I don't know if he got against the outside wall and come down a little bit, or I didn't give him enough room. We just got together and turned me around and him around both, and, you know, I hate to wreck the cars. We was real good in practice yesterday and kind of disappointed with it. We usually run real good here and just didn't get going. So we had one of the best cars in practice, but I think we had a bad shock or something.
Can you get it back out there, Sterling?
I think we can patch it up and get something going.
All right, thanks.
We're watching the Carl Long car. He just came back out of the garage, and now they can't crank it. And you see the NASCAR officials saying, get back to the garage, crank it back there, and then you can come back for more. There you see the pit summaries. No major changes there other than Jeremy Mayfield, who goes from the top spot third. We're back in a moment. The field will again get the 1-to-go signal. They had gotten it moments ago, but then the determination was made that there was too much speedy dry up there in turn 3. There's Wally Dallenbach. I want to give him a tip of the hat here. Started 33rd. He's up to 11th. And that could be one of the very best runs of the year, certainly. He only had one top 10 finish all season when he finished 9th at Watkins Glen. So old Wally doing himself proud today.
Well, he's got a little extra help. Mike Beam has joined that team as team manager, effective with this race. Mike's one of the best there is. That'll help anybody.
Left the Wood brothers earlier last week. Meanwhile, with all these Goodyear tires being used, Steve Burns has gone in chase of Phil Holmer, who's in charge of the Goodyear operation here at the racetrack. Steve?
Phil, you guys are awfully busy down here. You have enough tires? What's the situation?
Yeah, we're in fine shape. We started the race with 300 aside, and you'd have to mount tires the entire time of the race to mount up that many. So we're okay. There's a lot in here.
Okay, thanks. They've got 2 trucks opened up, guys. They're mounting them up as we speak.
All right, there you see the work going on. You see all that speedy dry up there? They have put the lights on again. Jeff Gordon is now going up there. They're asking the drivers to go up near the wall. Dale Jarrett helping out. They've asked them to try and disperse some more of that speedy dry. That's where Kevin LePage's car was resting moments ago. He'll try it again. We're again a lap away from racing.
Man, that sandwich was good. Is there another one?
Well, yeah, but we're saving it for Dale.
I'll be right back.
When you get that craving for Wendy's bacon mushroom melt.
Hey, Dave, you having fun?
Yeah.
Why don't you stay out a few more laps?
Okay.
With 3 strips of bacon and mushrooms in a cheddar cheese sauce, it's impossible to resist.
Now, where's that sandwich?
Wendy's bacon mushroom melt. When you gotta have one, you gotta have one.
Daryl, I'm kind of hungry. I hope no one ate my lunch.
We are now back for the restart. Green flag in the air, lap 265. Michael Waltrip has rejoined the race. After hitting the wall earlier today, he is 53 laps down, but he is back out there and competing yet again. There's Joe Nemechek's telemetry in that number 33 Oakwood Homes machine. Meanwhile, up front, Ricky Rudd with the lead. Jeff Burton trying to grab it away. And does.
Burton has been strong all day, but particularly on the high side of this racetrack. Seems like every time he can use that high line, he takes advantage of it, passes a car.
See the 27, that's that blue and white machine there.
Mike Bliss.
Mike Bliss, he is not on the lead lap. He is a lap down, but hanging right with them. He said renewed enthusiasm after that 9th place run a weekend ago at Talladega.
Well, the lightning rod in this picture you're looking at is the 12 car of Jeremy Mayfield. That car is very, very strong, especially from this area to the coming off the corner. You can see right there what a run he has on Ricky Rudd down the front straightaway.
Second place. Rudd climbs the banking, opens the inside for Mayfield.
Rusty Wallace sitting there in the 2 car just kind of watching the 2. He said, I even try the middle if you'll open up a little more.
I don't think that losing a spot, maybe more.
I don't think that crossed Rusty's mind for more than a flash of a second.
Yeah.
But it was an appealing opportunity to be able to slide in between those 2 cars. Look at all the skid marks coming off turn 2. Man, a lot of people have hit that inside wall this weekend.
I'm watching that 12 car when he gets, oh, look at Jeff Gordon going 3 stories high through the corner there.
Gordon's running in 5th. He is not racing anyone except the 22 in that picture, that black and gold cat car. The 25 of Nadu, he is in 28th spot, a couple of laps down. And Dale Jarrett, he is in 8th place right now, following Tony Stewart just ahead of him in the Home Depot entry. And look at the numbers there in green on the rundown. You saw Mayfield, quickest speed on that lap.
Gordon running right against the wall coming out of the corners. Just no space at all. No room for error whatsoever.
On the low side of the racetrack. He's not on the lead lap. John is 2 laps down in 27th. As Gordon goes by him now. Remember, Gordon is battling the 22 of Ward Burton. Further back, that is 18th place. It doesn't matter where you're looking right now. And look there, Mayfield and Rusty Wallace running quicker than the race leader, Jeff Burton.
Matt Kendrick there in the yellow, number 17. Battling with all these guys. No matter, like you said, Eli, no matter where you're at in the field, there's a battle going on.
Robert Presley is in 19th on the lead lap. We're riding with him. He's battling Kenseth and trying him outside.
You can see he made a very wise decision not to put the front end of that car on the outside of Kenseth coming off the corner. That's a blind spot that he was in right there. He waited till now to make the move on the high side and didn't get it done. Kenseth got a great run on the inside.
Up front, here's the battle for the lead. There goes the battle for the lead. Jeremy Mayfield, who most recently led from 241 to 256, reassumes the lead at lap 274.
This car looked every bit as good as it did in California when Jeremy won out there. That car was dominant all day long.
Back to that battle there in 16th and 17th. Kenseth is there. 77, Robert Presley. 31, Skinner. He's in the mix as well.
Steve Park has moved himself into the 9th position.
Him hitting the throttle a little easy there. That meant the back wheels were trying to spin on the car, and he had to ease up the throttle and then get back in the throttle. If you stay in and there's a buzz the rear tires, then you don't have any forward bite.
Kurt Busch is in that mix in the 97. So is the 10 of Johnny Benson. They're all battling with Kenseth and Presley, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th.
And Benson right now running in 20th spot. That's the same car he used to finish second at Bristol. Also finished second at Dover with the car. This morning, James Ince said they brought the wrong car. They just couldn't get the thing set up during much of the practice. They thought they had it a lot better for the race, but it still seems to be lacking some. Good on the very high banks, not as good here at Rockingham.
Looked as though moments ago there was contact. Watch it there coming at you. Benson and Kurt Busch.
Yeah, that's just taking that. Oh, boy, that's a little more than casual contact there. I would say that probably had something to do with the lap before.
Benson got right out sideways. Did a good job of hanging on to that race car. Could have been disaster.
Well, he's got some damage to that car right now. You can see it's not really back up to 100% like it was before the contact, but he does finally get by Kurt Busch.
The 21, Elliott Sadler. He's also in that battle in 21st position.
You know, that car has been one of the quickest cars. The 21 there of Elliott Sadler has been one of the quickest cars, and he made up his lap by running. He didn't just luck into it. That car has really been quite fast the second half of the race.
Of course, the Wood brothers with 6 wins here over the years.
Well, Elliott knows he's got to get on the gas with this thing. He's got 65 career start, goose egg in the top 5 column. Most laps he's ever led in a single Winston Cup race is 2. He knows he's got to get going. He's been very disappointed in the performance that they've had so far.
A green car, Rick Mast, he's running in 15th. Schrader in that yellow 36 is battling in 4th position. Conseco Pontiac. See how high those RPMs will go. Right around 8,500, 8,600.
Yeah, and this part of the racetrack itself is not allowing them to turn as many RPMs they did right in the first part of the race because every part of the racetrack is getting a little slicker.
Meanwhile, Jeremy Mayfield's lead of a handful of laps has gone away. Jeff Burton takes over the top spot at lap 282.
Eli, that's about the 5th or 6th time that Jeremy's got a pretty good lead, and then all of a sudden Jeff Burton would run him down past him, and Jeremy just kind of sits there and watches.
Crew just told Jeremy, don't worry about him. Just run your old line. Everything will be fine. Maybe it will.
The very first NASCAR Winston Cup race here, won by Curtis Turner. The American 500 in 1965. Who'll join the list today? We'll find out soon. The Burton brothers, Ward and Jeff. Close? That's certainly the case. They have raced together, battled together. Of late, it's been Jeff who's beaten Ward, including here at Rockingham in October of '99. And they are still as close on and off this racetrack as you'd expect of any pair of brothers. And today, Jeff is running in the lead and Ward is sitting in 4th. TNN Sports live in Rockingham. Eli Gold, Dick Bergman, Buddy Baker, Glenn Jarrett, Steve Burns, Ralph Shaheen. Glad you're tuned in. Been a busy day. We've had 7 cautions. You wonder when Ward's going to make a move. He's got it there. He's in 4th. Let's go downstairs and get an update on Ward Burton.
Well, Eli, he's making a move right now. He came in on lap 256, put on 4 tires. They made an air pressure adjustment to help correct a bushing problem that they had. Now, crew chief Tommy Baldwin is radioing Ward and saying, hey, you're one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. Let's get going. So he's making his move right now.
So we'll keep an eye on him as we're also watching Steve Park challenge Dale Jarrett for 8th place.
Yeah, and just a second ago, he drove up to Gordon and just went right on by. Steve Park driving a whale of a race today and seems to have a good car on long run.
If you're a Dale Earnhardt Jr. fan, 56 laps after he went off the racetrack, he has returned. So Dale Earnhardt Jr. is back 56 laps down. Carl Long is running again, 46 down. Michael Waltrip is back. He is 53 laps down behind our race leader, Jeff Burton.
You know who I bet's really enjoying this race? Bill France Jr. sitting home in Daytona Beach, Florida. His brother Jim is here. Rode his motorcycle up from Daytona, Jim did. And talked to him yesterday. He said Bill's feeling a lot better. A race this competitive, Bill. I hope you're enjoying it. We wish you'll come back soon, and we wish you well.
And that move that Earnhardt just made, don't try that at home, folks. He comes so close to the outside wall there that I thought he had hit it just for a second. I almost had to interrupt that story you were telling.
You know, earlier this week, I had a chance to spend some time with Rick Hendrick, who looked so very, very good after all the problems he's had. And he's here at the racetrack, of course. Let's visit with him a minute.
Well, we're here with Rick Hendrick, the car owner for 3 cars out here today, Rick. And it's $1,500 for a set of tires, and maybe somewhere between 15 and 20 cents to be used per car today. Do you get a little nervous every time you see a caution flag knowing another $1,500 is going out of the budget?
Yeah, we need a caution, and we need another adjustment, a fresh set of tires right now, so you have to pay the price.
Gentlemen, it could be a long and expensive day for these car owners today.
His son, a bit of a concussion here yesterday, but doing okay.
Bobby Labonte dropping back right now. Seems to be, maybe he just did that for Earnhardt as he come up on him, but he got out the throttle pretty hard getting into turn 1 just now, and Earnhardt just went right on by.
Look at Earnhardt all the way up to the wall. Meanwhile, Glenn Jarrett, as you would expect, has a different slant on the tire story of the day.
Man, I've heard of tire problems before, and it's obvious we've had them today. Not really problems, but they're just having so many cautions. But just a few laps ago, Buster Alton, who drives the pace car for NASCAR, radioed the tower and told him he had a right rear going down. Some of the guys from the 12 crew, the last pit crew down here, the last pit spot, number 1, next to the pace car, took the air tank, went over there, and aired up the right rear in the pace car.
Well, he's due to stop. Buster's made 46 laps already.
Oh, yeah, and tires go away about 20 laps, start losing grip. Good work, Buster.
Let's talk in all seriousness why some tracks are abrasive. As you see Earnhardt Jr., remember he was tangled with Kurt Busch earlier. Let's see here. He said he wasn't going to come back out there, but he got the car fixed.
I tell you what, Earnhardt Jr. is having to hold on for dear life in the 8 car. It's pretty wicked right now after being wrecked.
Paybacks are so hard now because there's a camera on everybody that anybody thinks might be due for a thing like that. So I'm sure Earnhardt knows our camera's on him right now, and probably a lot of still cameras around the racetrack too.
See as Earnhardt Jr. closes in.
Giving him a miracle.
This is not for position. It's nothing other than probably to mess with the mind of young Kurt Busch a little bit after it was Busch who hit Earnhardt Jr. in the caboose and sent him spinning earlier. It looked from our long-range camera as though Earnhardt Jr. had done the same to Jimmy Spencer.
Of course, you know, if Busch gets a little wiggle there and Earnhardt doesn't hit him, I guess that's okay, huh?
Intimidating Jr.
Well, he's making Busch think about it. I guarantee
you see those
that.
Green numbers, by the way, in the rundown. Anytime you see a green number or green speed, that's a driver who's going faster, like Jarrett and Park, going faster than Jeff Burton right now.
No.
He's just messing with him.
Yeah.
I think you're exactly right.
He is just messing with him.
Very effectively messing with him.
We're at lap 301, and we're staying with this, folks, because everything for the moment is settled down. Now you got a quick look there at the lead, but this has been most intriguing here. Again, it was 97 Kurt Busch who got it to Dale Earnhardt Jr. earlier. And sent Earnhardt spinning and basically out of contention for the day. Watching this, buddy, I was about to ask you, why are some racetracks abrasive to tires and others are not? Is it because this track, for instance, has more sand flying around in the area, this being the sand hills of North Carolina? Why this track and not others?
Well, certainly the sand has they call it sand hills, and you do have a lot of sand, but you also have a different surface at most racetracks. Talladega, for instance, is a different surface. Wow, I'm telling you what. I'm watching this with one eye and trying to answer the question. But Talladega is different than, say, Daytona as far as the grip you have on the racetrack. Every racetrack has a different formula. Here, it's very abrasive. You go down there, it's almost like sandpaper in the corners, and it really works on the tires. Rockingham, one of the toughest. Darlington, another. Very abrasive racetrack. And you hear the guy say, we roll the tires in the pit so we don't take any of the good out of them, getting them ready to go on the car.
So when we talk about tire wear and why it is always a factor at one racetrack and not necessarily at another, it's because of the compound, the construction of the track, and oftentimes the area, with this being the sand hills and the abrasiveness of the asphalt itself. Jeff Burton leads only 88 laps from the finish. Back after this. Welcome back, everybody, as we continue here at Rockingham. The race leader, Jeff Burton. Second place, Jeremy Mayfield. That is on your screen right there. Burton took the lead at 282. We're now at lap 311. Mayfield running in the second spot. Letting you know exactly where everybody else is on the racetrack. Rusty Wallace will be next into the picture. There he is. Actually, ahead of him will be Dave Marcus first. Dave is running in the 31st position. Dave is some 8 laps behind the race leader. Then you drop back. There you see Rusty Wallace. He is in the 2 car, the 22 Ward Burton. They are 4.1 and 4.3 seconds behind the leader. You've got Ricky Rudd in the 88. Coming out from underneath the scoring there, you see Dale Jarrett. He is in 6th spot, 4.8 seconds behind the race leader. Then you've got Carl Long, and following him is Tony Stewart. Carl Long is 46 laps down, and Tony Stewart there is in 7th spot. He is 6.3 behind the race leader. There's Scott Pruitt in 30th spot. He's 7 laps down, Pruitt is, in the Tide Ride, which is back to its normal paint scheme after the crimson and white from the Alabama Crimson Tide a weekend ago in Talladega. There's Wally Dallenbach in 25th spot. Wally's a lap down, and the 1 is Steve Park. He's on the lead lap in 8th. He's 6.3 seconds back of our leader, Jeff Burton. There's the 3 of Dale Earnhardt. He's running in 9th spot, closing in and moving around Wally Dallenbach. Meanwhile, we break away from the rundown a moment and check on Dale Earnhardt Jr., who will make a pit stop here to the delight of Kurt Busch after their wild racing there moments ago. Lap 315, Earnhardt Jr. pits. There's his dad on the racetrack, 9.5 seconds back. Dale Earnhardt is in 9th. The 18 is Bobby Labonte. He's running in 10th spot, battling with Dale Earnhardt for position. Again, Wally Dallenbach. He's in 25th. He's 2 laps down. 25 is Jerry Nadeau. He's in 28th spot, and he too is a couple of laps back. There's Bobby Hamilton running in the 4, still on the lead lap, 11 and 9/10 behind the leader. Hamilton is in 11th. There you see Mike Bliss, 2 laps down. He's in 26th in the Viagra machine. Then Jeff Gordon, remember he was in the top 5 a while ago. He is backslid now to 12th spot as Bobby Labonte peels off and makes a pit stop. So Bobby Labonte will pit at lap number 317. 76 laps from the conclusion. Ralph Shaheen is there.
Bobby Labonte makes his way down on pit road. Eli, they go to the right side of the car, changing tires on the right side. They even pull one of the windshields off of the car. As you know, they have the film on top of the windshield. They pull that off. The right rear tire was going down, so that's why they had to come in to change the tires.
16.9.
Others pitting on the same lap are Brett Bodine. Andy Houston is in as well. These pit stops at lap number 317. Continuing our run through the field, we talked about Jeff Gordon. He is in 11th spot, and Jeff is on the lead lap 14 and 7/10 behind. He's racing with Joe Nemechek, who is in 12th. Joe is 15.2 behind our leader, Jeff Burton, as you see some of the numbers that Joe Nemechek continues to post. Behind Nemechek, you've got Rick Mast running in 13th spot. Then the 10 of Johnny Benson. They are running in 14th position. They are still on the lead lap, both of those gentlemen are. They are 15.7 and 16 seconds.
Big fire in the pits.
Big fire in the pits.
Big fire in the pits.
Steve Burns is there.
Well, guys, we were in Rusty Wallace's pits, and we looked at as Matt Kenseth was pitting. Can't see if any crewmen had been hurt. Now, a lot of other teams rushing in, trying to move gas cans out of the way. Lots of smoke now. They're trying to get the fire out, but a big fire in Matt Kenseth's pit.
A fire brings out caution. Caution at lap 321 in the Matt Kenseth and Kurt Busch pit areas there. The leader is the 99, Fire. The pit road is closed, as you can imagine. And caution for the 8th time. A scary fire, and it was a big one as pit road fires go.
Eli, and one of the reasons the caution's out, look at all the smoke down in turn 1 there. Visibility is almost gone.
They are calling for ambulances, and you'll see them pirouetting into picture here in a moment. They're also bringing some additional fire safety crews down to the scene. Steve?
Yeah, Rick Mashinsky is the gas man on the 17 car, and they are putting ice around his neck. The emergency workers are here. He's on his knees, and as I said, they're putting ice down his uniform, trying to keep him cooled down. Rich Mashinsky, the gas man on the 17 car.
Jack Roush, of course, with that distinctive hat of his. You see him front and center there as the concerned crew members from all of the different organizations look on. Rick Mashinsky, the fueler, the gas man.
That was a scary, scary deal. Lots of fire down there.
I don't know if we have the actual beginning of the fire, but there you see it is already underway. It spreads very, very quickly, and you see the firemen right in the middle of it, wading right in. And you see the heat just repelling that one firefighter as it then spreads towards the 97 pit of Kurt Busch.
Well, there's firefighters all up and down pit road here in these NASCAR races. They needed a lot of them, and it's a good thing they had them.
Again, that was on replay. We're now back to live coverage. Rick Mashinsky, the fueler there, and look at some of those tires and everything else that has just been distorted, melted in some instances. See Jack Roush talking with the NASCAR officials. And maybe, I'm sure, once everything calms down, we'll find out exactly how the fire started. Pit road remains closed, as you can imagine, under the caution. We'll be back with more from Rockingham right after this. We are back here at Rockingham. Pit road has not yet opened. There is extensive cleanup from all of the fire extinguisher material and all that you see being swept away. The Lowe's pit for Mike Skinner just adjacent. Again, on tape, here's what happened. You can see crew members scurrying. See Larry McReynolds there on top of the war wagon from the Lowe's team looking on to try and get a view through there. Robbie Reiser is down there with Steve, I believe, fellas.
Yeah, they're talking it over right now, Eli. Robbie Reiser talking to a guy in the 90s, one of the crewmen off the 97 team. Robbie, scary incident. Tell us what happened.
Just car lighted the can up on fire, I guess. You know, everything happened so fast. You feel in the car, and next minute knew we had fire all over the place, and we got a couple guys hurt here. So that's more of our concern right now is the guys that are hurt than what we're doing here.
We saw the gas man, Rich Mashinsky, being taken away. Anybody else injured?
From what I know, I just got 2 guys that are injured. That's all I really know right now. I'm just trying to get this mess organized here, I guess.
Robbie, know how serious the injuries are? Did you talk to the guys hurt?
I just know they're burned. I don't really know.
Okay, thank you, Robbie. Let's go to Ralph.
Well, I'm with Larry McReynolds, who's the crew chief of Mike Skinner, pitted right next door. Larry, what did you see happen?
Well, I knew when they dropped the jack on the left side, I saw some fire come out from underneath Matt's car. And you saw him leaving, you saw the trail, which sometimes that happens, and I thought maybe it was done. But then I looked over and just seen like an inferno over there. And it's probably the biggest fear of the pits is a fire. And just certainly hope everybody's okay. And in the dilemma we had, on our last stop, we elected not to put fuel in ours to make some major adjustments because, again, there's no way you can go 90 laps here on a full run because of the tires. So we was within about 3 or 4 laps of having a pit because of being low on fuel. So thank the good Lord everything's okay. We just hope everybody with the 17 car is okay.
Is everybody okay on your team?
Yeah, a little covered in powder, but we're okay.
Well, that was going to be my next question. I see everything's covered in flame retardant stuff. Will that affect your tires that you have sitting back here that are covered in dust now?
No, I don't think so. You know, again, this pavement will wear the dust off pretty fast, too. We're going to pit.
He's got to get it off his tires, though, Eli.
Indeed, and pit road is going to open now. There's the gas can that was involved in that. You know, you got to think.
Eli, this thing always has a neck on it like that. I'm sorry that we didn't stay with that can, but it has a neck there, and it was broken off at the fitting there. That was probably done as he was leaving, and the gas man tried to snatch a quick coupling that they have to gas these cars up with.
Lap 328 now. All the leaders are coming into pit. Lap 328 of 393. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, I'm down at Jeff Burton's pitch right now, guys, and he's been leading this thing to make a very, very slight adjustment on the left rear of the car. 4 tires. This should be their last scheduled pit stop. They can run 65 to 70 laps. Burton is down in a way. He gets out in front of Rusty Wallace, Dale Jarrett, and Ricky Rudd. So great stop for Jeff Burton. I tell you, all these guys down at this end have done a tremendous job all day long with their pit stops. One other thing that we want to point out, let's talk about who is affected most by this caution flag, obviously other than those guys who are involved in the fire. But on the racetrack, that's going to be Bobby Labonte. Bobby Labonte, remember, had to make that early pit stop. He is now caught a lap down. The last count I had, he was way back in 25th position. Dale Earnhardt was in 9th, still running in the top 10. I know when he comes out of the pits, big hit Bobby's going to take in the points because of this caution situation.
He had pitted right on lap 317 along with Brett Bodine and a few others, and that was unfortunate. Here comes Bobby one more time right there in the middle of the screen. You know who else needs to be thought of in this situation is Bill Simpson, the safety guru. Because, buddy, and I don't say this to talk about years ago, I'm just talking about the progress that have been made here. When you were a Hall of Fame racer, you did not see these safety precautions and all the gas men covered head to toe in Nomex and so on. Bill Simpson doing a lot of that innovation.
A great job. And these guys do wear fire equipment. He's burned around the neck and around the hands, but every place he had the fire retardant on there, he's pretty safe.
All the cars that are at least 1 lap down are in for service now at lap 329 as we continue under caution at Rockingham. A half lap away from going back to green. Steve Burns quickly. Any more injury news down there from the fire?
Just got an update, Eli. The gas man, Rick Machinsky, was actually the only member of that 17 team injured. However, there are 2 firefighters who are being treated for inhaling dry chemicals used to put out the fire. Glenn Jarrett?
Near scuffle broke out down here between the guys in the 99 pit and the 12 pit. The 99 got to his pit first. Jeremy Mayfield came really close to the car trying to get into his pit. Nearly hit one of the tire changers. That tire changer, when his pit stop was over for Jeff Burton, went down to the 12 pit and confronted him about it. Told him to tell Jeremy to give me some more room.
Well, temperature's just a tad short here at the Rock this afternoon as we're at lap 332 of 393.
Rusty Wallace trying to take the lead there from Jeff Burton down into turn 3. Rusty's got a very, very fast race car today, and I'm not sure he's pulled it all out yet as far as how how hard he wants to run, but I do tell you this, it looks good on fresh tires, but Jeff Burton showed a lot of muscle after about 10 laps.
Rusty Wallace, who last led from laps 159 through 182, takes the lead here at lap 333. Now Dale Jarrett in the picture, running in third. And remember, folks, with that early pit stop and then a second pit stop, Bobby Labonte is all the way back in 23rd position.
At least, if we don't have another caution flag, they should be able to go the distance. But if history repeats itself here at Rockingham, we'll have at least one more.
You know, Glenn was talking about that little scuffle down there. Watch what happens. Looks as though Jeff Burton's Jackman was brushed here. Watch this. Yeah, that's what happened.
That is as close as you can get.
About made a sandwich of the man.
The guy changing the right front had to jump back also.
That's Chuck White.
That's what went on down there to start that little stare down. That's Glenn reported.
Burton's guys yesterday won the pit crew competition here at Rockingham. Saw Frank Stoddard walking into the garage, holding the trophy under his arm, kissed it. Did as he walked past the car. I don't think he thought anybody was watching him.
Sixth spot. Jeff Gordon. Tony Stewart. With the view from John Andretti's car.
Whatever Jeff Gordon had as a problem looked like they solved on that pit stop. He had dropped back in the field there and was pretty far back before that last caution came out.
Jeremy Mayfield, he's back in 20th position right now. Rusty Wallace, though, that last pit stop, they got gone once they got out onto the race. What did they do on that last pit stop, Steve?
Eli, they were pretty aggressive. On the stop before, they didn't do anything but change tires. But this time, they raised the track bar in the right rear of quarter turns and one round of bite in the right rear. So pretty significant changes for that two car.
And remember, folks, should Rusty go on to win this race, remember back at lap 176, everybody pitted except Rusty. He started losing a lot of positions. Then the caution came out at lap 192 when Terry Labonte spun, and that allowed Rusty to reconsider not taking tires. And then he, of course, went in and took fresh rubber and stayed right there with the pack. Could be the turning point of the race.
Well, yeah, he's taken four every single time. He has had an opportunity since then. And right now, Rusty Wallace looking real good in the lead. But look at all these guys back here with good, strong cars. There's a long ways from done.
Skinner's on the lead lap. Of course, Dale Earnhardt. Remember, Earnhardt entered the day 210 points behind Bobby Labonte. If the race ends right now at this moment, you see the spread will have narrowed by some 40.
Joe Nemechek going down the back straightaway. 8,500 there just before he had to back off to go in the corner. Now, at the early part of the race, we were seeing 88, 8,900 as far as RPM. Now the racetrack looks like you don't see the numbers you saw earlier in the race.
Nemechek in 12th.
Rick NASCAR did a little wiggle there. You don't do that many times off turn 2 and catch the car back, but Rick Mast is a very, very fine race car driver and caught the car right back up.
Watching 31 of Mike Skinner realized, too, that his crew chief's going to television next year. He's only got 3 more races after today, Larry McReynolds does, to be a crew chief. And his team's kind of running out of opportunities to win one. A lot of people thought McReynolds and Skinner were going to win a whole lot of races. Best they've had so far this year is a single top 5. It's not been anything like the kind of season that they wanted to have this year. They wrecked the primary car here in practice, and right now they're out there struggling with a car that's been up from another crash.
By the way, if you're following the fortunes of Dale Earnhardt Jr., who is 56 laps down while his father's doing well, Dale Jr. just grazed the wall again coming out of turn 2. He's been able to drive around, but he is having himself a handful. Watch it again on the tape replay. There, he just does graze the wall.
Oh, that's a little more than a graze. Yes, that's almost left side's off the ground. He hit so hard.
He has come down to the attention of the crew. Dale Jr. has.
Great race for the lead here. Jeff Burton looking on the inside of Rusty Wallace. They come up on a lap car. Jeff Burton has a great race car. Just eases out of the throttle. Knows that he has a car that he can really make a run with later on. It's about time that those good. He manages his tires well, and as you can see, for the guys back home that race on the weekly schedule, you don't have to do it all in one corner. Pace yourself if you have a great car.
Well, Burton's done most of his passing on the high side today. He can't pass Rusty on the high side because that's where Rusty's running. He tried way on the bottom, which is what he's doing right there again. Uh-oh, wild card, Mayfield.
He has been slowing progressively. We told you he had dropped back to 22nd, 23rd spot. While we watch this battle for the lead, watch the story on Jeremy Mayfield. Let's go to the pits.
Gus, I was talking to the crew guys there, and it's that age-old problem they've had all day with that miss. They're going to bring the car in and have to change the battery. It finally did give out. That's what was causing the miss. It kept getting slower and slower and slower. The battery finally is running down on it. Man, what a tough break. He had the dominant car.
Without a question, Jeremy Mayfield.
Trouble, turn one.
Turn one.
Michael Waltrip again.
Whether it's that same oil fitting, the problem he had earlier, we don't know. But Michael Waltrip, for the third time today, bringing out a caution. We had talked about...
Okay, did she go big? Yeah.
Yep, she went big, says Michael.
That means she has quit running. As you can hear, is very quiet in that race car.
So Michael Waltrip apparently blowing an engine.
I don't know.
We'll see what the story is there. By the way, we're talking about Mayfield. Jeremy led 169 laps today. Let's go to Glenn.
Well, guys, talking about Michael Waltrip for a real quick minute here, you'd have to think that all that oil he lost earlier when that oil line came loose had to have damaged that engine inside because it had to run it low on oil. He put a lot of oil down on the racetrack, and it finally showed up when that thing let go. We're standing beside of Jeremy's car now. They're working on it, and they've just about got the battery out of the thing to put the other one in. But tough break for him. I'm telling you that. You just had to know, though, all day we've been talking about that car missing. There was something to it, and it finally did show up. Here's Steve Burns.
Hey, thanks, Glenn. Rusty Wallace is in for service. Last time they raised the track bar. Now they're going to lower it a little bit. Rusty said the car is a little bit loose. Right side tires are on. Now the left side tires go on. Let's go to Ralph.
Pretty good quick pit stop down here for Jeff Gordon. The revs come up as he is running the lead. And he's going to get out just in front of Ward Burton. Glenn?
And Jeff Burton is in. He had just a little bit of trouble there. He's going to come out in about 5th place. I saw Dale Jarrett, Ward Burton, and a couple others go by him. So not the best pit stop they've had all day. They've had good ones all day until that one. I'll go down and check and find out exactly what went wrong.
So we are under caution for the 9th time. Last year, we only had 3 caution flags in this race. Heck, this spring, back in February, we only had 4 cautions for 22 laps. Today, 9 cautions already for some 56 laps. Now the lap machines in for a stop at lap 351. We're about to go green here at Rockingham. For the first time today, Dale Jarrett leads. Rusty Wallace is way back in 8th. What happened, Glenn?
Well, I think Steve will have that story, Eli. I'm down in Jeff Burton's pits, and the problem they had on their with their pit stop was the rear tire changer Todd Foster fell as he crossed the wall. Let's go to Steve.
Thanks, Glenn. Yeah, I found out what happened to Rusty Wallace. But just talking to crew chief Robin Pemberton as we go back to green. The lug nuts fell off or came off the wheel on the right rear tire because they've been going through so many sets of tires. The lug nuts had not fasteners had not hardened. He said they'd only been on the wheel for about 20 minutes. They use a weather stripping, and that adhesive had not set yet, and that's why they all came off.
My goodness, always something.
Boy, a great battle for second right now. Jeff Gordon in the 24, the 28 there, Ricky Rudd going high. Bobby Labonte not able to make up that lap on the restart. He is up there beside the guys as they took off, but didn't have the drive as they went off there to make up the lap that he's behind at the moment.
Bobby Labonte in 20th spot. 1 lap down.
Boy, wouldn't it be something if DJ finally won one of these races at Rockingham?
Or how about if Ricky Rudd wins for the first time this year?
That'd be okay.
Yep, that'd be a good story.
Yep.
Oh, a little bump right there with Ward and Jeff Burton. 22 and 99.
Very close brothers, but they do race very hard against each other. And if you ever want to see Ward Burton mad, to see him run second to his brother.
Oh, boy.
Yep. That's gotten under his craw just a bit.
Just a bit.
Well, it happened, what, 3 times last year? And when it happened here, he just didn't like it at all.
How about Jeff Gordon? At one time was all the way back to 14th spot. Made a couple of stops, and they've worked on this car. He's making a run at Jarrett now on the low side of the racetrack.
Gordon trying to grab the lead. Watch this during the Burton battle. They bounced off the wall. Look at all those green speeds there now. Those guys running faster than Dale Jarrett. Anytime you see a green number, they're going quicker than the race leader.
They might be doing it, but he's still leading the race right now, and he's running a groove that he feels he can maintain good tires and run around. You see the racetrack. Both of them have the cars set up a little bit differently. Jarrett running high, the 24 there, Gordon much lower in the corners.
What an interesting year Dale Jarrett has had. Started out winning the pole in the Daytona 500. Everybody thought he was going to be the champion again compared to last year, where he started up Daytona 500 upside down. Everybody thought he had no chance to win the championship. He won it anyhow.
Just 34 laps to go. Firefighters on pit road.
Searching.
0.2 of a second between Dale Jarrett and Jeff Gordon. They battle for the lead here at Rockingham. Jarrett, with whom we're riding on that list of non-winners here at the Rock, along with the likes of Sterling Marlin, Kenny Schrader, some pretty good names. I've never figured out this racetrack.
But nobody's ever had 6 second-place finishes here. He's due one. If anybody is in the field, Dale Jarrett's due a win here.
There's Bobby Hamilton in the 4 car. Started 35th and is now running in 7th. Only 1 top 10 finish all year. He was 7th at Darlington back in the spring. And conversely, 10 times this year, they have not been running at the end of the event. So nice to see Bobby Hamilton. He'll be leaving the Morgan McClure team at season's end. But nevertheless, good run for him as he is being battled there by Jeremy Mayfield. Look at that. Hamilton has changed 28 spots today, more than anybody else.
He runs so well here. He led 42 laps in the spring race. It looked like a winner until he had ignition problems. Did win this event in 1997. Bobby Hamilton runs extremely well here at Rockingham.
By the way, Dale Earnhardt is back now to 18th. And Bobby Labonte is running 20th. So those of us who are all keeping our eyes on the battle for the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship, right now, there's only 2 positions between the top 2 point men. And there's Earnhardt and Elliott. They are battling for position. That's for 18th place on the racetrack.
Earnhardt's got a problem with his car being able to maintain good corner times. And you can see right now, he's pedaling his way as Bill Elliott goes right on by. And the other bad part of what's happening to Earnhardt at the moment is Bobby Labonte's picked it up. He's running with the lead cars, trying to get back in the lead lap. It won't be long before they'll be racing each other.
Earnhardt's car just so tight, he can't even turn it. You can just watch the set it's taken going into the corner. He restarted in 10th, and he's all the way back to 18th now.
And And we do this every race. We talk about tight and loose. When we say a car is tight, that means the front end of the car is not sticking properly. You turn it left and it goes up the racetrack. When you hear loose, that means the back end is breaking traction in.
There's Labonte right there. One lap led, though, is enough, though, for those 5 bonus points.
Let Jeff Burton go right on by because he knows he's after the win here. And Bobby Labonte right now knows that Earnhardt, I guarantee he knows everywhere he's at and how much he's losing per lap to everybody else.
Now, they are a lap apart, remember. Earnhardt is on the lead lap in 19th. Bobby Labonte is a lap down in 20th. But the positions so close. This championship battle is going to go down to the wire. Dale Jarrett, 10th race he's run here in the number 88 car. He's had 9 straight top 10s. Now 1 7/10 seconds behind is Jeff Gordon. So he's unable to keep up with Dale Jarrett. Let's go back to the pits. Steve Burns has been following the injury story in the aftermath of that scary fire on the pit lane. Steve, what have you learned?
Yeah, the injured cast man, Rick Mashinsky, he's being transferred to a local hospital. He's got second-degree burns around his neck. He is alert, and talking to the medical staff, they're a little more concerned with the dry chemical and smoke that he inhaled when they tried to put out the fire, Eli.
Steve, thanks for the update, and certainly, folks, I know we'll all keep you informed over the course of the next number of days. Your local newspapers and TV and radio stations will also have information for you in your own local communities. Ricky Rudd, I'll tell you something. He's given Jeff Burton all he wants just ahead of Bobby Labonte there.
You're exactly right. They've been going at it and going at it. Jeff Burton's been up to the door on Ricky Rudd 3 or 4 times, but just can't make the pass on him.
It's tough for either one of these guys to win the race. Rudd right now is well back, 3.9 seconds behind the leader, and not closing by any stretch of the imagination with just 13 laps to go.
By the way, Dale Earnhardt Jr. fans, he is not going to be able to continue after the bounce off the wall there earlier, and he is done for the day. He will finish in 34th position. They will not be able to repair the car. Look at Tony Stewart's number there. It's green. He's running quicker right now than Dale Jarrett, and you realize Tony Stewart, he lost 8 spots on pit road during that last caution. He came in 10th, went out 18th. Now he has worked himself back up to 9th place as he battles with 10 laps to go and takes the spot away from Bobby Hamilton. Ralph?
Oh, Eli, he had a horrible vibration and was going to have to pit anyway. Apparently, a lug on the left rear tire did not get put on the car, or it fell off once the car left pit road. So he was really struggling. So he needed that extra pit stop. Lost a lot of time in the pits, but is charging to the front.
Tony Stewart on the move, the quickest car on the racetrack. Well, right behind Ricky Rudd now, who is actually a tick on the clock quicker. Everybody chasing Dale Jarrett, who is 2 1/10 seconds up on Gordon. Jarrett over the years has finished second here to Ricky Rudd. He has finished second to Dale Earnhardt, finished second to Jeff Gordon. He's finished second to Bobby Hamilton. He has finished second to Mark Martin. Finished second to about everybody. He's just never won.
Could be worse. Eric Ant finished second here 5 times, and he's retired. He's not going to win. Jarrett looks like he might. The car that's right behind him, Gordon on your screen right now, the car has tightened up. He's not going through the corners well. He's got an understeer.
And one thing I'm noticing on Jarrett's car is he's able to maintain a low line getting in the corner and then let the car float up to the center part of the racetrack. A good groove to take care of the tires. And right now, he's just kind of in the easy chair, kicking back right now. The car looks flawless out there.
Rudd and Burton. Just 7 laps to go as we ride with Ricky Rudd. Looks as though he'll still be winless on the season, but he's turning better laps still than Jarrett. But the laps are just winding down to a scant few.
Just behind those two, Rusty Wallace in 5th position. The lug nuts that fell off on that pit stop quite possibly cost him the race.
And just behind him in the yellow car there, Steve Park, a great day. He's had a good race all day long, been in the top 10 most of the day.
Park has really come into his own this year. Done a terrific job.
Of course, that win at Watkins Glen for the home state fans.
Well, that was big, but you know, he scored his first ever top 5 as well this year. You think about that, it took him a long time to get there, but once he got there, he's been nicking them off one after another. He's got 5 of them now.
There you see Gordon going by, 2.5 seconds behind Jarrett. Then you go back to Ricky Rudd. There he is. He's 3.7 seconds behind Dale. Got Jeff Burton and Rusty Wallace in top 5. There's Burton, 4.2 seconds behind the race leader, and Rusty Wallace is 6.6 back.
And I'll guarantee you, Jeff Gordon has to be. Look at the battle for 5th right here. Steve Park trying to take the spot away from Rusty Wallace. They run in 2 different grooves on the racetrack. You see right there, Steve Park good getting in. Rusty wiggles just a little bit as he starts off the corner.
5th place up for grabs with 3 laps to go. And 7th place is a good scramble. Stewart and Wardburn.
Stewart able to maintain that low line there. They battled several times before. It looks to me like right now, oh boy, the great run that Ward Burton got off the corner there. Stewart able to get in the corner much quicker, but boy, off the high line there, that 22 car accelerated quite well.
Seventh place is a good one. But they are coming to the white flag for Dale Jarrett.
Dale Jarrett, I know, is looking to have a great finish, but he's had some rough luck here right near the end of the year.
This racetrack has always been special to the Jarrett family. Ned Jarrett, the great champion, 2-time champion, drove his final race here in October of 1966. And today, finally, October of 2000, Dale Jarrett's going to win at the Rock. Jarrett comes to the stripe and wins in Rockingham for the first time ever. Jeff Gordon will finish second, Ricky Rudd third, Jeff Burton comes next fourth, fifth is Wallace, then Park, Stewart, Ward-Burton, Bobby Hamilton, and Joe Nemechek. That is the top 10. And now Todd Parrott, the winning crew chief, downstairs. Let's get his thoughts.
Okay, Eli, Todd. Boy, it's been a long time between wins. How does that one feel?
Well, feels great. You know, the guys worked real hard. I'd like to thank Jerry Oxford and Bill Funderburk and Joe Hoffman. It's a brand new Robert Yates chassis and put together in about 18 days for this race. Tired of coming down here running second. And, you know, we just did a great job. The guys, what can you say? The pit stop was awesome. You know, they say the races are won and lost in the pits, and the pit crew won the race for us here today. And the guys in the car, they did a great job with it.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
And Todd Parrott said the mouthful right there. Why don't we congratulate he and all the crew as our Red Wing Shoe Work Hard pit crew of the race, sponsored by Red Wing Shoe Company, America's best choice for durable, comfortable footwear. Dale Jarrett is a winner. We'll hear from him when we come back. TNN Sports live coverage of the Pop Secret Microwave Popcorn 400 has been brought to you by Haviland Extended Life Antifreeze. Add more life to your car. Welcome back to The Rock. Dale Jarrett about to meet his brother. That's nothing special, but when it happens in Victory Lane, it is special. Glenn?
Well, it's been way too long. It's been since November, I guess, of '97 in Phoenix last time. Dale, congratulations. Looks like you saved the very best for last.
Man, what a great race car. And the guys back in the shop, this one's for you guys. It's a brand new car. They built it in a hurry just for here. And Todd did the right things in the pits, and the pit crew did a great job there all day long, but especially on that last one. I want to thank God for a safe race and for the abilities of this race team. Man, Daytona was a long time ago, so this is fun.
Dale, did you change something on the car the last time? It seemed to get a little better, or was it just the track position got you out front?
Well, track position certainly helped. That's where the pit crew comes in. But we made a slight change. Todd made a change about 3 times before that. Took a rubber out of the right rear. Made the car too tight. We freed it up then and made it better, and got it a little too free, and then we put a little bit of bite in it. Just a good set of Goodyear Eagles on there at the end.
Congratulations there, brother. I'm proud of you. After a gazillion second-place finishes at Rockingham, Dale Jarrett's in victory lane.
And by our numbers, Ford clinches the manufacturer's title with the win today. Dale Jarrett is also the Bryant Hot Driver of the race. Freezing cold, call Bryant to the rescue at 1-888-999-BRYANT. Back in a moment. Take a look at the final rundown in the Pop Secret 400 here at Rockingham today. Old Tony Stewart comes home in 7th. Worked hard to get that, too. Dale Earnhardt 17th, Bobby Labonte 20th in the championship race.
Yeah, it looked like Earnhardt had a good top 10 car, and all of a sudden he started dropping back near the end there. I'm sure the handling went away on the car. Bobby Labonte does what he has to do. He stays right there with Earnhardt.
There you see those who went out early in the day. Jimmy Spencer, Mark Martin, Robbie Gordon, Dave Blaney, and Kenny Wallace after only 14 laps gone with engine failure. So the NASCAR Winston Cup points not really shaken up much near the very top. It was 210 coming in. 201 is the margin leaving Rockingham. Well, as this is our final race here at Rockingham for TNN Sports, we're doing the same thing today we have done in our last few races. We're going to look back for just a moment at some of TNN's special moments here at the North Carolina Speedway.
Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Evans, and what we have here right now is 5 announcers, including yours truly, with brand new TNN threads and nowhere to go. So let's put them to work. Kyle Petty is out of the car, being doused with his sponsor's product.
As they come off turn 4 for the final time, Davey Allison will win the AC Delco 500.
I'm telling you what, I just can't believe it. Finally.
Absolutely. In the winner's circle is the Ford and Davey Allison.
And here comes Bill Elliott, poised to win his first race for Junior Johnson and the Budweiser Ford. Takes home the laurels and the winner's share of the Goodwrench 500. Earnhardt up on the high side. That's where Waltrip goes to give the leaders the bottom. Yellow.
Is that a move?
Earnhardt is closing it up. A little run out of time. Wallace scores his 3rd Rockingham win. Buddy Parrott gets the dunk. Well, he's up near the top of the Winston Cup points after a great run at Daytona.
Uh-oh. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Here comes Mast right to the bumper, slides it sideways, and Earnhardt holds him off to win the race and knock down his 7th Winston Cup championship.
I tell you, I got to dedicate this to Neil Bonnet. He's been in my heart ever since we lost him, and he's really been close to us. His family has suffered so much. I hope the best for them, Susan and everybody, but this is for Neil.
For Bill and Gail Davis, for Chris Hussey, that MBNA Pontiac team, Ward Burton scores his first Winston Cup win.
Look at Earnhardt right up under him right now. Now that'll loosen you.
Whoa! I guess that'll loosen you up. Hamilton at the wall. Ricky Rudd back in victory lane for the 14th year in a row. Career start number 91. Raven won't win. Hamilton will.
Well, I'm going to wait till they get through high-fiving because they're liable to slap me. Jeff Gordon clowns out. He's going to get a kiss from Brooke first. And as usual, I'm not. All right, I don't want to get between these two. I don't want you to kiss me.
I kiss you today, Glenn.
Jeff Gordon wins the championship. Jeff Gordon wins the EC Delco 400.
He won his first major speedway run in Winston Cup right here.
10 years ago.
Up the banking goes Jeff Burton. but Ward is not going to be able to get there. Out of turn 4 to the stripe, give the checkers again to Jeff Burton by car lengths over his brother Ward. Bobby Labonte wins at Rockingham for the first time. And that brings us to today, October 22nd, 2000, when in his 27th try at the Rock, Dale Jarrett makes his way to victory lane. Hope you enjoyed our coverage. Next week, the Busch Series from Memphis, and in 2 weeks, we'll be with you in Phoenix, Arizona. For Buddy Baker, Dick Berggren, Glenn Jarrett, Ralph Shaheen, and Steve Burns, I'm Eli Gold. Good night from the Rock.
It's November, I guess, of 97.